Hey everyone, I'm Madeline Sklar and welcome to the Kratom Gals. This is our weekly space where Kratom consumers come together to stay informed, share experiences, and have honest conversations about the issues affecting this community of ours. At the heart of everything we do here is education, advocacy, and protecting access to natural kratom through open discussion and informed conversations. And bottom line, this is not a debate stage. This is just a place for information, positive discussions, not fighting among each other. Today, as always, we're going to be reacting to the latest Kratom news stories that are making the headlines. There's so many of them to look at today. These are just different news stories all around the country. We're also going to look at just some different videos making the rounds, people talking about Kratom. They're talking about 7-OH. We're going to look at that and react to it, plus a whole lot more. You never know what we're going to be playing here. So you got to stick around. And if you can't stay live, for those of you watching live, if you got to go, be sure to catch the replay later because we have so much to go through. Now, a very quick but important note before we dive in. This live stream is for educational purposes only. We're not medical professionals. Nothing that we talk about here should be taken as medical advice. We're just sharing our own personal experiences, discussing the experiences of others, encouraging an informed discussion, and advocate for responsible legal access to Kratom. And I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to all the people. I see the live chat is just on fire. We appreciate you all so much. So many of y'all come here every week. You're waiting for us to start and you stay the whole time, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate the viewers that catch the replay at their convenience and watch and comment and let us know that they tuned in as well. So thank you all so much for the support. Our channel has really grown this year. We don't do it for clicks and views. We do this because we are all very passionate Kratom consumers, and we want to help spread awareness and share our stories. And we need more of that in the community. So if anything, I hope what we do here with all the stuff I do in the community, I hope it inspires you and others to get more active and do what you can with the time you have. So let's bring up the Kratom Gals. We even have a special gal joining us, Angela, from Botanical Advocacy and Education. Good to see you, taking Robin's place today.
Good to see you, Angela.
Good to see everyone. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
We're so glad you're able to join us and fill in for Robin. I know she's out of town dealing with medical stuff, so just always happy to have any of you ladies involved. So many of us love the work you all do.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're definitely passionate about it because it's helped all of our lives.
Yeah, and you know, that's like definitely the key word. I think that should be our word of the day later. Like, we're all just so passionate about this. Mm-hmm. When I first discovered Kratom, and I couldn't get over how well it was working for me. And I knew right then and there that I would spend as much free time as I could talking about this, sharing my story, and taking my 30 years in digital marketing experience, plus my 30 years of building large, vibrant online communities, using my skills to help bring people together, because we need more of this. We need discussions. We need people in the community to not feel so alone. And Angela, I really appreciate all the things you all did, the OGs back in the earlier days, especially when Kratom was under attack federally in 2016. And y'all did so much to help the community back then.
And you know what's scary? I think it's more scary now than then, too. That's why we need people more than ever.
It is scary where we're at now. Very scary. The anti-Kratom people have had 10 years to really come together and push their narrative. And Massachusetts is a great example of how well it's working for them, because those grieving families have been pushing for Massachusetts. And when they couldn't get the state, they just started going town by town. And now look at the state as of yesterday.
Sadly,
devastating. Yes. Absolutely devastating for Massachusetts.
Yeah.
It's devastating for Kratom as a whole in general. But I mean, it's devastating because, I mean, they're, very, very open to marijuana, and it's recreationally legal there. But They also just had a father and an 8-year-old child killed by a drunk driver. But is she banning alcohol? No, she's not.
Wow.
So yeah, that's just really sad. It's really sad. I really hope that things turn around for Massachusetts. I know the 4 vendors that filed the restraining order go to court on September 11th for the state of Massachusetts. That's huge. So that means, everybody in Massachusetts, make appointments, call your reps, call them, see if you can get appointments, sit down, talk with your aide, do a Zoom call, do a short video of yourself, send it in via email, go stand out on the Capitol and just stand out there, big signs, Kratom saves lives. Don't ban Kratom, save all the alkaloids,
So
follow the science.
So important to speak out. So right now in my TikTok comments in the past week, so many people have been reaching out that are in Massachusetts, that are in North Dakota, that are in Kansas, all these places where it's gotten banned. And they all say the same thing. They don't know what to do. And it's like, okay, aren't there some people in the community that are supposed to be helping the people that want to do something, but they have no idea what to do? I keep telling people, call your legislators, call your governor, call all your reps, call and make noise, because even though it's been banned, if we're silent, we got to be proactive. And we're going to talk more about that later. But also if it's already happened, because most people either don't know or they just sit back and let everybody else advocate. And then it gets banned. You can still, I know in Louisiana, people are still in Tennessee where it's banned.
Connecticut, people are still, sending in messages too. It's getting messages literally every single day about people going, what am I going to do? Like, I can't go back to like this. And I understand I can't go back to living the way that I was living. I won't go back. It's either one of 2 choices. I'm going to either have plain leaf, or I'm just not going to have anything, and I won't exist, because I won't go back to living the way that I was living. That's not a way of living. That was pure hell. It was absolute pure hell, and my son even, a biochemist, wrote in on behalf of Kratom and MIT and 7-0. And, it was, that to me meant a lot, because my kids saw me at my worst. I'd go to work, being both mom and dad. I was a single mom. I was not supposed to work when I was working because my back issues, but what was I supposed to do? That wasn't going to pay the bills, and it wasn't going to take care of a kid. So for 15 years, I worked against doctor's orders, to take care of my son. But it's like, anytime I got home from work, I was either sitting down or laying down on the couch, or I was in bed, and, now like I'm up and I'm out and I'm living my life. And a lot of people who know me, they wouldn't even know that I live with the amount of pain that I live in. It's like, some are like, oh, well, what do you do? Well, I take Kratom, 95 point, almost 100% of the time, it's just Kratom with maybe a little bit of a mint extract. And then on my bad days, 7, but it's just kind of just been really devastating to see all of this. I was really grateful that my son wrote in. Your families can write in, if your kids have seen the change in you from, being either bedridden or stuck on, pharmaceuticals or whatever, have them write in. They are a voice for you, because I guarantee you, your children don't want to see you going back to being that shell of a person that you were, because I know mine doesn't, and I'm very grateful that he wrote in, I'm very grateful. It meant a lot.
And I think their voices are more important than even ours, because they wouldn't be saying anything good if it was something that was bad. He let them know. He let them know that, he watched me my whole life. He's seen both sides of it. He's a biochemist who works in pharmacology. He does the pharmaceuticals, so he knows both sides of the damaging side of the pharmaceuticals, the good sides of the pharmaceuticals. He saw the damaging side and what they did to me, or what they couldn't help me with. And, being pharmaceutical resistant, I'm really hoping that even something, as small as, my child writing in, but him being, a biochemist, like, gives them oh, hey, well, wait a minute. Like, if this person's writing in and this is a biochemist, is this bad? Because it's not, it's not like Dr. Michelle Ross, who everybody knows, it's someone that's not
constantly a forefront of, Kratom or whatever. It's just a normal individual writing on behalf of somebody, writing on behalf of a consumer. So, everybody's voice matters. So if you can get family, friends to write in, I highly suggest it. Seven Hope's got you go right on their page and you can immediately send it right in, take action, to stop, the ban on all of these alkaloids, Kratom and all of the alkaloids, because you ban one alkaloid, then the rest of the plant follows. And prohibition does not work. We need regulation. We need 7.0 regulated. We need MIT regulated. We need Kratom regulated. We need certain GMP compliant standards, and leave us alone. And then, just leave us alone.
Yeah. Leave us alone. Yeah. Well said. That's why it's so important for consumers to stay informed and to use their voice. And get out there as much as you're able to. And even if it's just sending an email, if it's just telling a friend or a coworker or family member, just normalizing Kratom. We need to normalize this plant. And that happens by us, talking about it. I got lots of videos we got lots to look at today. I'm sorry we started late. I wasn't expecting some audio issues. When at my computer, ChatGPT came to the rescue. I will say that. Whenever you have an issue, just ask ChatGPT. It'll figure it out. It told me exactly what to do, and it fixed somehow a setting on my computer shut off, and I don't know why. Before we dive into the videos, I do want to mention Twinkle, Venus, and I have decided to upgrade our X account because X is just a great platform for news and information without censorship on social media. And so what we've been doing is trying to get more educational information out, more advocacy information, and just trying to help everyone stay informed. And so by upgrading our accounts, we're able to put more content on there. And also because of upgrading, we're actually able to live stream on there. We used to be able to, and then they stopped unless you had a paid account. So look, very meta. We're live streaming right there over on X, but we've been able to really ramp it up. I've been sending lots more news information, sharing more news stories, and getting a lot more information out there. I've been doing there was some breaking news I was putting out and just trying to help people stay more informed. We're just in a climate right now where we need that more than ever. And so our ask today is, if you find value in all of this work we're doing, we would love some support. If you can, any amount helps, but we do have a page over on my Kratom Stories podcast website on how to partner with us in advocacy. Have a lot of information here, but basically for people that want to help out, we do have a variety of ways to do a donation, whether it's through credit card, Apple or Google Pay, Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. It helps support all these efforts. It's not supporting just the Kratom Gals. It's all of this time and energy we put into this and all the costs involved. And we had all decided we wanted to upgrade our X, formerly Twitter. And it adds up. I added it up for the three of us. For the three of us to have this for 1 year is $276. So it adds up. We're paying it out of pocket right now. But if anybody here would like to help support these efforts, I even have a QR code I can put on the screen. You can take a photo of that, and if you're watching on your phone, take a screenshot or just go over to the website. It is kratomstoriespodcast.com/support. Very easy to remember, but any amount is helpful. And if you can't right now, no worries. Totally understand. We just want to make sure the community is aware that, we're trying to raise some funds to help cover the costs. And it's always appreciated. So
very much so.
Yeah. We're just trying to do more.
Yes.
That's right. We're trying to do more.
Passionate advocates who volunteer. We're all here volunteering our time. Is anybody here being paid to be here today? Did a company pay you to be here?
Absolutely not.
No, I've voluntarily missed 3, boat cruises because this is important. And I'm not paid a dime. I'm not even paid a dime from the vendors that the vendor that I help. So it's
yeah.
I'm glad we can go live on X now. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I missed being able to do that. They used to let us, and then they made a change a while back, about a year and a half ago, that where only the people with paid accounts could do it. So I was kind of bummed. It's like, all right, do I want to go back to, or actually start a paid account? I haven't had a paid account on my Kratom one, but decided to go for it and, just try to help get more info. Because again, my background is all of this. I was one of the top Twitter marketing experts in the country. I was known for teaching Twitter for like 10 years and teaching social media. I've spoken at stages all over the country in the social media space. I've also spoken at stages all over the country with music marketing that I used to do. So I'm just taking my skills and applying it to what I'm passionate about, which is Kratom. And I love that I've connected with all of you through social media. Most of y'all through X.
Yep.
Which is very cool. But
because
thank you all.
Had your X space there for years, a couple years.
That was something I just started doing because I know how to do it. I was actually one of the early beta hosts when Twitter first started, when it was still Twitter and they first started. It's like this, and there's no video. It's just live audio, which is very cool. And more people are inclined to participate because they don't have to be on camera.
They just pop in. Yeah.
And for those that might remember, it was a lot like Clubhouse. Clubhouse was the first one. And then Twitter started their own version of it and called it Spaces, Twitter Spaces, and then it became X. But I was one of the early people allowed to host my own Twitter Spaces chats. And so, when I started getting involved in the Kratom community, it's like, hey, I remember meeting a lot of you all. I know Twinkle and Venus, I for sure met through Twitter. And we just decided like, hey, let's pick a day. And it's funny because we still do a chat at that same day and time, Thursday afternoon, 3:00 Eastern. But instead of doing it on Twitter Spaces, which we did for a couple of years every Thursday, instead now we're over in school and we do it as a private chat. So if anybody is not in our school community, come join us. It's free to join. And we do just it's more like a Zoom call, like just a private Zoom call. All right, let's get into the videos because y'all, there's so many of them. There's so many of them. This first one is out of Massachusetts because, of course, that's the big news right now. Massachusetts the governor just banned Kratom. Everything, Schedule 1 as of yesterday. So let's watch this.
Minneapolis joining us live in Quincy as several retailers are fighting back against the ban. Peter.
That's right, Erica. So several retailers, including one here, are suing the state, saying that this order paints with too wide of a brush. But the commissioner of DPH says that the risk here far outweighs any potential benefits.
And can have pretty significant health effects if people are taking high doses and don't know that they're taking such high doses.
The commissioner of the Department of Public Health making an emergency order to move Kratom into the Schedule 1 drug category, making it illegal to possess or sell in Massachusetts. The plant has been used for centuries as a stimulant like nicotine, but in recent years, synthetic versions of Kratom hit the market with high dosages of a certain compound that can mimic the effects of opioids.
The market is completely unregulated. So we don't really know what people are packaging and then selling on the shelves at gas stations and at convenience stores.
According to the order, dozens of people have died due to overdose from Kratom over the past 6 years. But several smoke shops across Massachusetts are fighting back. This one here in Quincy joining 3 others in this lawsuit against the commissioner and DPH, saying it was illegal for them to criminalize Kratom outright and should have banned the synthetic version. They contend, quote, evidence of an emergency created by synthetic, concentrated, and laboratory modified compounds does not establish that the plant is an imminent hazard warranting Schedule 1 classification.
I think we need to learn more about Kratom, about any potential benefit of the substance.
So local boards of health are now tasked with enforcing this and making sure that retailers take this off of store shelves. This temporary order lasts for a year. Live here in.
All righty. Well, there you go. Poor Massachusetts. What do you think is going to happen with that? I mean, I'm glad there's a lawsuit, but doesn't change anything and it could get thrown out. I mean, But
I hope
hey,
something happens with it, because I mean, someone who literally lives 15 minutes from the border, the drug epidemic here, especially in Massachusetts, is insane. I mean, it reminds me of before I left California, like the streets of Skid Row, LA. I mean, when you see, like lots of tents, and there's tent cities, and there's homeless, and there's lots of drug addiction. And then, and then there's people who, still go to work every day and have, their drug addictions. It is insane out here. I want to know, like, what is the overdose rate right now today in Massachusetts? Because keep that number in your head, because it's going to go up. That's going to go up drastically, just like Florida, just like we've already seen with Tennessee. We're seeing it in Connecticut. So, I mean, this is them protecting us.
but
And
the
now
problem,
the overdoses are on the rise. How is that protecting us?
but they don't, the powers that be don't ever talk about that. Are they keeping okay, they've removed Kratom, all the products related to Kratom off the market in Massachusetts. Who's collecting the data to see how many overdose deaths are there going to be that you could pinpoint because of this? Like, has Louisiana, I mean, Louisiana's been banned a while. It's been banned for a little while in Connecticut. Is this being tracked by anybody with authority?
Probably no one. Probably if they cared, that we wouldn't be going through this right now. I mean, I remember when they're like, "Oh, it's the Narcan, it's not Kratom." There's not not enough Narcan dispersed to go with the amount of people who have got off pharmaceuticals, got off the illicit substances on the street, and then the overdoses rates going down. I mean, I've been sharing, the decline in the pharmaceuticals. It's like it was way up in 2021, and now it's just way down all the way to 2026. So what's going on right now? We're seeing them studying the two alkaloids everybody seems to say is the biggest problem, but they're going to turn those into a pharmaceutical. So it's like, okay,
So how big of a problem are they?
How big of a problem are they?
Right.
Or is it you just want the money and taking
Right.
from what we've already been knowing, like plain leaf kratom, a lot of people use it. Some use it, like myself, for pain. Others use it to not drink alcohol. Others use it so they don't have to take Suboxone. And I can't tell you how many times I've read such like ignorant comments like, "Oh, well, why don't you go, on to Suboxone? That's not safer. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, hi, this is me, 48 years old, the best condition of my entire life. My labs are flawless. My organs have basically started healing themselves over the last decade after coming off of pharmaceuticals that killed my mother, killed my father, and were slowly killing me over 30 years. And I'm almost a decade free from that hell. And my life is never 10 years ago, if you would have told me that this would be my life today, that I'd be up and enjoying life and I would feel mentally okay majority of the time, and physically, able to go do something, I would have laughed right in your face. Oh, I would have laughed right in your face, because there was no way. But now, I mean, it's like, I see what it is, and I'm fighting for it hard. And I don't see how anybody else that, like she's, oh, we're doing this to protect the children. Yet she made abortion legal, full term, protecting those children same day. So I'm just like, to me, it felt like a giant mass murder is going to happen to Massachusetts in some sort of, population control.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. This world is just, that woman needs to go. Oh, that
really
woman needs
dark.
to go.
It's a really
She's
dark
clearly
world.
not for, plant medicine. She's not for, she's for prohibition. So just, anybody, constituents in Massachusetts, just remember, does she have your vote next time you guys go to vote?
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, we know that the grieving moms have pushed really hard in Massachusetts for years. Do you think they got to her? That they somehow, because they did,
without a doubt. They're teachers. They've worked in like the whole system. It's, it's like, who knows who, and they all seem to know each other there. I've been there.
Do.
I have sat right in that same room with them. And for someone to, and I'm not knocking the loss of her kid, because I could not imagine that.
Agree.
You know, God rest his soul. Like, I'm so sorry for his passing. But if millions of people are telling you, you take this away, this is going to kill people. You know, this is going to, you know, take people's lives, whether they'd be doing it themselves or not knowing what they're doing, because they're going to go now look for they're going to go either look for Kratom black market, they're going to either look for an extract black market, or they're just going to go right to the street drugs, because that's going to be a lot easier to get.
Right.
You know, they're going to go right down to the corner and go, what do you got? And then boom, it's got fentanyl. And guess what? That person's gone.
Where there's no oversight, correct. Where there's no oversight, I just don't
it's
get
scary.
it all.
It's scary. And these people are making decisions for so many people in their area, in this case for the state, and they can be voted in, they can be voted out. That's why it's so important to call legislators. And so for people, because again, let's go back to what I was saying earlier. I got so many people in my TikTok comments. I have the largest audience over at TikTok. And so my comments are always just on fire, and people are scared in Massachusetts with they're also scared in the other states. North Dakota, we keep hearing North Dakota a lot. And
New Hampshire, keep an eye out, because we're literally right over the border, and we know that they were trying to ban 7 not that long ago.
But what do we say to the person in Massachusetts right now that is like, oh my God, I just found out Kratom is banned in Schedule 1 in my state? What can they do right now? Any advice?
I would be contacted. I would for me, setting up either a Zoom or one-on-one, you know, because I know Venus has done that, and sitting down and someone actually talking to you versus just reading yet another, because you think about it, and it's not like we're just another number, but when you sit in here reading thousands after thousands, we're just another number to them, you know, and it's like, you know, how many of those thousands of people that are sending in messages, like how many have done the face-to-face? How many have done like a short 2-minute video? Because when you put something to it, you know, you're showing them that you're not inebriated. This product isn't 13 times stronger than morphine, you know, like we're not looking like the people that are out here right now in Massachusetts streets that are, you know, looking, you know, very, very rough because of the drugs that they're on. So, you know, I would say, you know, call and set up appointments at this point, because we've already sent in messages. You know, we need to get loud in a different way, you know, stand outside, you know, whether you're one person with a sign or 5 people with a sign.
I would be outside their office
every single day that you have, that you can go down and stand in front of that, you know, big Capitol building down there.
Be a pest.
Be a pest, you know. Yeah, Kratom saves lives. Save all the alkaloids, you know. Just put it up. People will walk by, you know. People will walk by. You'll talk to them. Cars will honk their horns. People are going
live
to start
stream from
seeing
your phone.
it.
Live stream from your phone.
Exactly.
Right there.
You know, make your voice heard. Whatever you have to do, because right now, clearly the woman didn't care what she was doing, nor did she even care to hear what any of her constituents said. Because if she did, we would not be banned right now. And at least plain leaf would have been available.
Right.
You know, like, this is ridiculous. Like, but Massachusetts, and, you know, like you said, the few that have been gunning for it, you know, they work in the school systems, you know, they all are tied together. So
you can tell
it's tough.
When we've watched the hearings in the past. I knew a few years ago in the Kratom Gals, we'd watch some of those Massachusetts hearings, and you see the same people, and they go from town to town to town. They seem to know everybody.
Oh yeah, they come up in here into Nashua, and then they went to Concord and everything.
They know all the people on the boards, and they were really pushing the Board of Pharmacy too. I mean, it's like, I think the problem is most Kratom consumers have no idea about how to advocate or to even be looking for this stuff. And then all of a sudden they find out on the news, oh, it just got banned in Schedule 1 where I live. I guess I'm a criminal now.
We're getting the, oh, hey, like, I'm going to place an order and it's not let me do it. And I'm like, okay, well, your first question now, I'm like, well, what state are you in? Because our website automatically blocks, you know, any banned state. So they're like, you know, I used to be able to order blah, blah, blah. What, you know, like this sweet little 70-something-year-old lady, you know, she's like, I've been, you know, this is the only thing that I've been using. And I only order a couple of times during the year because I don't, you know, I have such small amounts. She had no idea it was banned, you know, and this was in Kansas. I was like, whoa, okay. You know, and that was what, July 1st, I think.
Well, and you can't expect most consumers to even know about how to stay on top of this. I feel very fortunate that when I discovered Kratom early on in my Kratom journey, it started in 2019, I somehow stumbled upon the AKA's website, American Kratom Association, that Angela here was part of the original long time ago before it became what it is now. And I was able to sign up for the newsletter and at least be aware of like, oh, they're trying to ban it in this place. Oh, they're trying to ban it over here. I had no idea like that this. So the average person wouldn't even know. So what can we do to help people? You know, I know with your organization, Angela, Botanical Advocacy and Education, y'all are really big with the whole grassroots, how to call, how to email, how to set up a Zoom, how to do all the things. I mean, what are your thoughts on all of this? We'd love to hear from you.
I mean, we've got to have different places where people can get information. Our website, AKA, GKC, wherever, support groups, Facebook, Reddit. I mean, you just got to get the information out there and teach people, okay, this is working for you. You want to save this. Here's what you can do, and just start educating people on how to advocate. We've educated people on what it is. Now let's educate people on how to keep this available for them. And
excellent. Yeah.
You know, and we always say, and I don't know about the other organizations anymore, we will help anybody. You need help writing something, let me know. You need help formatting, let me know. We'll do whatever we can. Working with Amanda right now on something and helping her out. But, you know, we put it out there. Just email us. We'll help you. We'll teach you how to do this.
I love that. And Mike is asking, what does BAE do? I mean, y'all are basically grassroots.
We're grassroots advocacy for botanicals. Unfortunately, because of everything that's happened with Kratom this year and last year, we haven't really had a chance to expand into the other botanicals on education. But right now, it's all Kratom legality at this point. So.
And to be clear for people that aren't familiar with botanicalae.org, they are not funded by the industry like AKA
by anybody.
And GKC. This is a group of people who were part of the original AKA that came together through Susan Ash because Kratom was under attack 10 years ago. And y'all are just a group of very passionate people who've.
And we do talk to Susan Ash, so
I love that.
In case people didn't know that, so
I love that. I love that. You know, y'all are still in contact with her. I mean, the things y'all did back then were amazing and got us to where we are today. Where, like, if it wasn't for y'all's efforts back then, Kratom would not have been available to me in 2019 when I lost access to pain management through no fault of my own. My choice that I was thinking at the time was, okay, I can't get the meds and no other doctors would take over because of this supposed war on drugs that are affecting us pain people. It's like, I guess I got to go find a drug dealer. But, you know, there's such a concern with all the fentanyl in the street drugs. How do you know that you're really buying what you think you're buying? And right before I found Kratom, I was so horrified by thinking this was my only option, because then on the news, they had done a huge drug bust in my city of the street Percocets, and they looked exactly like my pharmaceutical Percocets. And I was like, oh my God, how would I even know if it has fentanyl in it? And every time I take a pill, and mind you, I was having to take pills all the time, every day for my chronic pain. I was worried, oh my gosh, this pill could kill me. Like, that's fear nobody should have to live with.
That's what's so scary. People, this is my fear. People, we talk about the possible ODs. People that don't have the Kratom that are going to the streets now, if they don't have a test kit to see what they're taking, we're going to lose them. And they don't have the option to go back to Kratom, at least legally now. And it's just so sad. I'm so scared of what's going to happen in all of these states that are losing it.
Yeah, it's very scary. And great point by Jamie. Like, you don't even want to buy street drugs anymore, even people that did do it before, because there's so many things in it now. Nobody knows what's in it until it's too late. Mike is asking, can you collaborate groups for showing up to hearings, etc.?
Is that for me? He's asking.
I think so, because he was asking about.
That's what our whole thing is. We want to get back to originally we had a great program with AKA that Robin and I created. We want to get back to that, where we can have advocates in every state and call them up like we used to do and say, hey, we need these people from Oklahoma. Can you go? Here's the date. Nowadays we get much less warning about things. They throw things in at the last minute. It used to be better that way, but we are working on trying to put back together advocates. We used to have a whole program set up, and we want to do that. Right now we can't even get ahead of anything because
it's hard,
with all the states involved. But that is the ultimate plan, to have everybody, advocates for every state in place that we can say, look, this is going on. Can you go, and just get that all going again.
Yeah. And I got the link on the screen.
Chasing our tails right now.
Yeah. I got the link on the screen, botanicalae.org. And to be clear, this group volunteers their time to just help pass along information because they've got the experience. It doesn't mean they're able to go sit in every Zoom call. I think people in the community forget that many of us suffer with debilitating pain issues or other medical conditions. Some of us work. Not everybody's on disability and can just sit on a computer all day and show up at every Zoom call. It's great that we have advocates that do that, but these advocates also poo-poo on everybody as if there's a scorecard. And that's ridiculous because we are all advocating in our own ways. Just us coming here every week is advocating. Actually, the amount of information we share here is just everybody does what they can do with the time they have. Nobody should be made to feel bad or singled out. I mean, Robin and I get singled out all the time, whatever. It's like neither Robin or I are paid by the industry to do this 24/7. Now, if the industry was more interested in that, things could be very different. And don't think that I haven't tried that, because I would love to spend all my time on this and use all my skills because I'm that passionate about this. But, some of these advocacy groups are just, not interested in that. And I know the lobbying stuff they do is very expensive, but grassroots advocacy is so important. And we need more.
Grassroots saved us when the DEA tried to move. It really was. It was nothing to do with lobbyists then. And now we need it more than ever, but we still need the grassroots that we just don't have like we used to. And if we can build that back up, we have a better chance of fighting things.
Absolutely.
But and another thing, and I have to say this, and we say this all the time, we all need to work together. Quit trying to put this separation in there. I mean,
it feels like it's a strategy for some reason. Like something just doesn't.
I don't know.
Something just doesn't seem right with it because it makes no, like my constant hashtag make it make sense. It makes no sense.
We're stronger together. We need everybody together on the same page. We all want the plant to be legal. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And saying one person is better at it or this person should do it, that doesn't help anything.
Well, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. And that's what's so crazy. And we all do what we can with the time we have. That's my new little tagline now, because most people are just not able to, whether it's physically or the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Our whole board, we all have physical issues. I mean.
Oh, yeah. And that's why Robin's not here today.
Exactly.
Robin's not here today. Let's make sure the one person who's listening in is very clear, because I'm sure her name's going to get brought up by him again, as always, for not showing up.
Nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes, but let's just.
That's right.
Well, I do have a video about that to play later. If anybody's already been on my social media this morning.
It's a lot of nerve with people showing up.
Probably seen it if you've been on my socials this morning. But
we shouldn't even have to address this.
We shouldn't have to.
Fighting together to keep this plant legal.
That's why it feels like a strategy. That's why it feels like some kind of strategy, because we should be all focusing on keeping Kratom safe and legal and fighting for this plant.
Exactly.
Whereas instead they want us infighting, and it's like, well,
and KDA loves that. Let's face it.
Can you imagine how much popcorn they've been popping just in the past 6 months?
A lot.
Holy cow. Anyway, let's get back to the videos because I got a bunch and there's just no way we'll have time to watch them all. And thank you to everybody here live. We really appreciate all of you all coming and spending time with us on a Saturday afternoon. I think the reason why people come here and hang out, let me know in the live chat for those who are here live. I think it's because we're all just so passionate. You're passionate, we're passionate. So it's like these are the passionate people in the Kratom community, and we just want to, hang out. Lois has something to report. She says she just saw that I saw that I've now blocked by Misty and Jennifer. I can't see their podcast today. The division.
Wow,
crazy.
I'm sorry, Lois, because you were in that conversation with me yesterday about someone ranting about being blocked when he was just muted because he was being toxic. That's too bad, Lois. Well, let them block if they because clearly we all have positive things to say and they don't want to share it. So,
well, that particular one said
it is. It's ridiculous. This divide is absolutely just.
Yeah, well,
there's more time spent on the divide than there is on advocating, and we're not here for that. So on to our advocating ladies.
Yeah, we're moving on. So anyway, this next video is Albany, New York, which they banned it or about to ban it. I already forgot which one. There's so many of these bans. That's how bad this is that we can't even keep up anymore. There's too many. But let me start with this one.
30 right now, live for new steps to ban a product in Albany County known as gas station heroin.
Yeah, we've been covering this extensively. It's called Kratom, and right now it's available at gas stations and convenience stores. Zach Richter is here now with what the Albany County executive just signed today. Good afternoon, Zach.
Mark and Sabrina, good afternoon. Albany County Executive Dan McCoy says Kratom is a danger to life and health, and saying that it will now become illegal to sell Kratom in Albany County 1 week from today. Kratom is a plant that people take as a drug, as in gummies, tablets, shots, and vapes. The county says Kratom has commonly been referred to as gas station heroin and has been sold at convenience stores and gas stations and smoke shops. The county says there has already been one death in Albany County from Kratom, and he says one death is too many. We spoke with the Albany County Executive Dan McCoy earlier today, who says he's signing this public health order to protect the residents of the county.
You're seeing more and more people passing away from this. And it's like a gateway drug to the next drug. And my problem is, the 7-OH that's attached to this, another one besides the Kratom, is making people addicted. We want to take this off our streets, take it out of the gas stations, and protect people. And I know people that are on it are going to think we're being Big Brother, but at the end of the day, this doesn't have a good outcome.
And the county says New York State has already enacted new legislation to prohibit the sale of Kratom to individuals under the age of 21, and also requiring warning labels on Kratom products. Coming up on News Channel 13 Live at 5, what Assemblyman Phil Steck has to say about this.
All righty,
wow,
there you go.
It's a gateway drug to another drug. Man,
what a loser. Oh my God, these people.
I remember them saying that when it was Reefer Madness. No, it's a gateway drug to the harder stuff. Yeah, more people are dying from it. That's not the case. People are dying from their causes.
Terminology from other things and then carrying it over and saying it again. That's why you can't trust no one. Can't believe them. Can't trust them.
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's just sad. But, they paint the narrative that they want you to see, on that newscast platform, They won't ever, like we've said many times, they won't go over and, go back and correct themselves and say, oh, hey, we said this, but that person that died from the gunshot wasn't actually a Kratom death. It was an actual gunshot death. You know what I'm saying? They don't come back and fix that.
What about
the moringa man, the guy with the moringa? He said how long in jail?
8 or 9 months in jail.
He did it a long time, and it wasn't even anything related to this product at all. I have a huge bag of moringa. Doesn't even do that. It's like a multivitamin. People eat it in food and soups in other countries because it has all the nutrients in it for people that can't even put on weight because they're starving. That's what moringa does.
Right.
Shows how misinformed law enforcement
is. It's a superfood.
To do something like that.
Exactly. Yep.
The thing that pisses me off with the media is they never retract anything. So what about the time, I think it was last year or early this year, where LA County reported all these deaths because of 7-OH. And then it turned out like a magazine did an expose and did a deep dive and found that it was not true. It was alcohol and other substances. It was not because of 7-OH. And the thing is, now LA County did put out a statement and they retracted it, but did any of the media that pushed it out for weeks show that? No, we reported it here because we reported when it was first mentioned. We're like, oh, here's something interesting that happened in LA County. Let's talk about it. And then when I saw that retraction letter, I showed it here because that's one of the biggest fails in media is they push a narrative very much like some of these lobbying groups. They push a narrative and it's a one-way push and they don't want anybody to look at or even think about the other side. And they certainly don't want the media ever, putting the right information out. It's always like, let's just push this one thing and let's get the public to believe what we want them to believe. And look at how many people are terrified of Kratom because it keeps getting called gas station heroin. And you know what else is interesting? More and more people in the chronic pain community have been getting more outspoken talking about 7-OH. And you know what a lot of people say? They say, I was terrified to try it because of all this stuff people say in the media and all these addicts. And then they say, it's just like with Kratom, because a lot of natural Kratom consumers have said the same thing. You hear all this negative stuff and then you go try it and you're like, this is so awesome.
What?
I don't.
That was
feel
me.
Like
I mean, I was not for it. I wasn't even going to work for the vendor I was for anymore because I was like, no. Like, I mean, that's how scared a certain, organization was getting it,
And then I had to research it. I had to dive. I had to go, I felt the same way. And then, so when they want to still continue to put out this narrative, I got to at least be here and say, this hasn't happened to me. So while you might want to run with somebody else's story or possibility or something, you're not going to do that with mine because,
it's your own experience and your experience is not what all these people hyped it up to be because so many people are saying, and it's so interesting. I say this over and over. You got two groups of people with 7-OH. You got the addicts, and always I preface this with saying no shade to people in active addiction or in recovery, but the people that used it and got addicted have a completely different story than the people in the pain community. The people with the addiction issues were taking hundreds, thousands of milligrams a day, like these obscene amounts. When you talk to the chronic pain people, you hear 2 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. Amanda, I think you're probably on the
35 milligrams. Yeah, I'm also on a higher end of Kratom too. I take 7.5 grams.
But the thing is,
it's still fairly
that's subjective. But that's subjective because it depends on how your body processes.
That's right.
Just like when I was in pain management, the amount of opiates, the MME I took would make the average person fall on their ass and not be awake for 24 hours. But I had the pharmacokinetic test that shows with my DNA that the way my body processes it, it goes through me so fast, it doesn't last. When I, at one point, did the fent patch because my pain was so bad and Oxycontin wasn't enough, so go figure. The fent patch is supposed to be for 3 days, 72 hours. Guess how long that lasted on me? I was
not even a full day.
Lucky if it lasted 30 hours. And I usually couldn't even get to that. And the doctor understood, but I also had data, the documentation through science that shows it goes through me so quick. And it scared me how quickly my body would process something.
Isn't it crazy how long we had to be stuck on pharmaceuticals to find that out? 30 years for me. 30 years of them playing, oh, this doesn't work, try this. And it takes months for the other one to, get out of your system, the effects to stop being whatever they are. Then it's like whatever countered with this pill. It's like, that was my cycle from the age of 9 years old until 38, 39 years old. That's what my life was, and it's like, come to find out, oh, well, basically you're pharmaceutical resistant to many and your body just like, it goes through you, like water. It doesn't last. They couldn't prescribe me like with Madeline, couldn't prescribe me, I'd probably have enough to kill an army walking around with some freaking pain medicine. and it wouldn't barely even touch my pain. The only thing it did was make me very groggy and tired and floored, because when my pain was still there, it was honestly, I think that some of the pain meds honestly made me feel worse. Now that, you know, when I stopped taking them, the pain meds definitely had made me feel worse versus better. And I didn't realize that, because, you know, you're told, you know, these are supposed to help your pain and it's supposed to make you feel better. No, I felt worse. My body was failing. My organs were failing. I was dying, you know.
Most people I've talked to, there's an average of about 25 a day for chronic pain. Other people I've talked to are between 40 and 60, and that's for chronic pain. These are for severe chronic pain, though, disorders that are very, very painful. So I'm not going to judge somebody and tell somebody else that just because I take a minute amount compared, we all, you know, I'm doing it for safety. I want to also make sure that it was an amount that was, you know, not going to make me feel a certain type of way and relieve my pain at the same time, because I also have other disorders that I'm already naturally with narcolepsy to get a boom, and what I'm taking is not going to do that to me. So everybody is different, like Madeline was just saying as well. A lot of people haven't had that testing. Some people have. A lot of people haven't. You know, everybody's just different in so many
Some
ways.
places don't even offer that yet.
Well,
Everybody needs
with
to
my
have it.
insurance.
Let me tell you what I've learned. So it's called a pharmacokinetic test. Y'all Google it. So anybody that's still in pain management, you just pay for it if the doctor doesn't. Here's how it worked for me, and I'm so glad my doctor did this. But knowing what I know now, I would have gladly paid for it. My doctor was very smart. They get audited, and if they can't prove why you're giving high doses to people who need it,
correct.
that's why some doctors are in prison, because of all the overreach with the government. Like, you prescribe too much. Well, there's some people that legitimately need more than others. So he was wise enough to have his patients get this pharmacokinetic test. So I just remember this is the first time was 2013, and I'm in for one of my usual appointments every month, and they said we'd like to swab your cheek. We're doing this pharmacokinetic test. I'm like, okay. They said insurance paying for it. It was like, so no big deal. Insurance will pay for it. Don't worry, we're just going to swab. Take 2 seconds. I'm like, okay. And they said, yeah, we'd be able to see like how your body processes the meds, but it also shows other, like, it's not just for opiates. And I remember them saying, this document, you're going to get the data. You could give this to any of your doctors, and it's for all different kinds of medicines. It's based, I guess, on your DNA, your body makeup. And the next year they had me do it again. It was a different company they sent it to, because I still have them. I found them a few years ago. When I had moved, I found the documents. And it's fascinating now with ChatGPT to go and Google to look up all the terminology and stuff. But like, I already knew through my own personal experience that morphine does nothing to me, nothing at all. I've been in the ER where they tried to just IV after IV of morphine. It does nothing to me, nothing, to the point where they just, okay, we can't help you. Like, I've had that happen in the past. So I know that one doesn't work on me. And in pain management, because of government, I should write a book about this. I don't want to get into the long thick of this because I want to get back to videos, but short version is there was a period of time, it was 2012, and there was some serious government overreach because of this war on drugs and all the opiates out in the world. And they didn't want us pain patients to have so many opiates at any given time when we go get our 30-month supply, right? I mean, I'd have like lots of Percocets, lots of Oxycontins, all different meds, because we needed a lot to take every day. Well, the government didn't like that anymore. So they forced the doctor, I don't know if this happened everywhere, but in Texas, it happened here. They made my pain management doctor put his patients on long-acting instead of short-acting opiates. And I'll never forget this appointment, because normally, you go to your pain management doctor, if they're popular, you're there for several hours because the waiting room is filled with people. It takes forever to finally see them. And then they do all their things and you're finally out the door. This was taking extra long. And they said, well, we got these new policies. We have to sit down with every patient and fully explain this. So I just remember him talking to me when I finally got back there to the back to talk to him, that they're forcing them to do this. So I was not allowed to have so many short acting perks and stuff. So we're looking at my insurance and what's covered. And he determined, let's do the morphine long acting. I said, well, morphine doesn't really work on me because, well, let's just give it a try and see what happens. And it doesn't work on me. And so my pain relief was it was as if I wasn't taking anything and I was suffering, but he had me do it for several weeks. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm suffering so much. I finally was able to have insurance and the government let me go back to what I was taking because of the morphine long acting, you can get very serious constipation issues, more so than normal. And I ended up in the ER because of that. And I called the doctor later that morning because this was like an all-night thing. I said, I'm not taking these. I'm in the ER because of this. And I said, I already told you like this was not going to work on me for pain, and it hasn't. I'm miserable. But I'm having a major health issue because of these meds that the government and insurance are dictating. And so I don't know if this happened to any of y'all back then, but I clearly remember.
A lot of people think that the opioid that all the CDC opioid guidelines were recommendations actually were the start of it all. But in 2013, I was on the opioid prescribing task force via the California Medical Board representing the Eye Pain Foundation. And that was in 2013. And I was on that until it convened in 15. It was already going on. Changes were already being made. And it just happened to hit in 2016. So this was all kinds of things led up. And it actually even started before that. It's just that we assumed that it was, boom at one time and it wasn't. So, and actually, I think the Eye Pain Foundation actually has a company that does that test that you're talking about. I haven't had it done yet. I would like to one day, whether it be out of my own pocket or a doctor, but they also do it because it's a panel of all kinds of medicines that will or will not work for you and what your type is for it. Because Barbie as well, there's medicines that will never work on her. And you kind of get gaslit from your doctor, like, why aren't they working on you? Why are you saying this when it should be working for, this and that. And people just get, no other word for it, but gaslit. So at least it's available now and people can try to help themselves with it.
Yeah, I'm going to grab the name of this test. I'll put it on the screen. Hey to Sarah. Sarah's in the live chat. It's called pharmacogenetics is what it's called. And it identifies genetic factors in drug. Well, this is an NIH article, so it's more of a study. But pharmacogenetics is the study. Let me just put this on the screen. It'll be easier. It's the study of how inherited genetic differences affect your body's response to medications. So this is just something good to have anyway for all meds. But my doctor had the foresight, and this helped him, I guess, when it came to auditing. Because he could, prove.
Well, then he could prove exactly. He can.
And so, prove. And I see. At the time, I didn't understand, but being around all of you all over the years, who also were in pain management, I've learned so much, like how much of a moneymaker all the pain management stuff is. All those procedures, all those epidural steroid injections and radio frequency ablations I've had, and it's a cash cow for them.
It is. And I just had the appointment with the neurosurgeon, and I have several referrals to an ortho, to a nerve conduction test, to another CT. He wants to sort of take the spinal cord stimulator. I need an MRI. I can't because of the spinal cord stimulator. The spinal cord stimulator would need to be removed in order to get the MRI. And then he, went on to, well, do you want, why don't we just update and replace the spinal cord stimulator? And I'm so desperate for pain relief that I'm probably going to do that, but I also need the MRI for them to get the better picture, because now it's another CT. I already had it on the cervical spine. Now it's going to be cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I have straight Medicare. I don't have the one that, you get your book and you could pick a program. It's more expensive, but it's still 80/20. But this way, if something happened and ambulance accidentally took me to a hospital that is like out of network, then I'm not in trouble. I kept it that way. It's more important. It's more expensive, because I don't get the government assistance. I only have Medicare, so I don't get like the Medi-Cal or what do you guys call it back east? Meta something.
Medicaid.
I don't get that. Yes,
Medicaid.
I don't get that with mine, and mine's almost too. Mine's very expensive, and it doesn't even come with a prescription program. So my blood pressure medicine, I'm just using the CVS extra care thing, and then my son did sign me up for the what is it called? It's another RX, Good RX.
The Good RX. Yeah.
Right. So otherwise, I'd be paying another $100 a month. I'd be paying almost $300 a month out of my little Social Security check, because I was disabled so young that mine is less than people who get SSI, a very small amount. And that doesn't go up. You get a $12 cost of living increase or a $5, but it's very, anyway, back to the point, this stuff is very expensive for people to try to endure and live. And my husband's is already $500,000 in just the past year.
Well, let me mention with medications, if anybody's not aware of this, and you don't have to have insurance. If you have insurance, it's a separate. Mark Cuban has that online drug company called Cost Plus Drug Company. I've been using it for years. I've used it with insurance and without insurance. It is kind of like the Drug RX. He has this this is absolutely cheapest way to get pharmaceuticals. And
my husband uses Amazon, so he actually gets his medications through Amazon pharmacy.
Well, I highly recommend
it's seriously cheap. He's able to get that.
Well, let me tell you, if y'all want the cheapest meds out there and you don't have to do it through insurance, because a lot of times with insurance it's more expensive. And it's costplusdrugs.com, and they started this a few years ago. And I was paying two pharmaceuticals I've been taking way before Kratom that I still take, half the cost through this online. It's an online pharmacy, half the cost than what I was paying at big box Walmart. It's ridiculous. And they don't even care at Walmart, right? I remember I'm moving this prescription and they didn't even care. And so I just decided to tell them I'm moving my prescription because I can get half the cost than what y'all charge.
Yeah.
Me. They don't care.
Good.
But Cost Plus Drugs, and they have way more now than they, when they first started, it was just a small amount. And now they have so many. So you can just literally come in here around the homepage right here. You just type the name of the drug and it'll let you know. Now, they don't do opiates. They don't do anything that's.
My 3 medicines were $70. My blood pressure medicine, it's $20. The muscle relaxer they gave me was $20 or $22 or something. And then the anxiety one that they gave me to help me on the plane trip, she was very kind, knowing that it's the first ever trip and in the condition I'm in. The whole thing, so all 3 of them was $70. So I might have been able to get it there then for 30.
I would just,
20.
it's worth it for
expensive.
Anybody that takes pharmaceuticals, it's worth taking a moment to go to that website and in the search, just type in your meds. There's even one that I don't fill very often, but I decided to check because it was something they didn't have before and now they do. And it's way cheaper than using the Good RX. So,
well, thank you, because I never heard of them. So thank you.
It's a great resource. Yeah, it would. Well, because years ago, Mark Cuban was like, "There's got to be a better way for people to access pharmaceuticals that are not so expensive," and he teamed up with this online pharmacy. And the way, my understanding of how it works, is that they because here's the thing, and he talks about this a lot online. The reason why our pharmaceuticals cost so much is the middleman. The middleman, what do they call those? There's a name for it. And they're the ones that set the price. They set the price for everything. And they're all about making money. Why does a middleman decide to do that? And they but it always goes back to, well, this is how the industry is. So they just allowed to do it. So what he has done is he's come in and there is no middleman. They get it at cost. And all they do is add a small percentage to the cost. And then you pay for the shipping. And even with the small amount over cost plus the shipping is still like half the cost of the meds at a big box pharmacy that I could just walk to. So it's worth looking at. It doesn't cost you anything. And it's very easy to get your doctor to change the prescription over to you give them the website info. They give you all the info on the website. I've done it with a variety of things, and it's just so easy, and it's a great way to save money. So,
thank you for that.
Let's get back to, I always forget to mention it, but yeah, I mean, the GoodRx is good. I was using GoodRx for a long time, and the one that was not on this site until now, I was still using GoodRx for the lowest price, but now that this site has it, it's even cheaper over there. So it's just good to just be aware of what's available to us and what the cost is. All right,
absolutely.
Let's get back to the videos because there's so many, but I love these conversations and it's good. And we're helping to inform people, which is so important. So just always love these. And Angel, I'm so glad you're joining us and filling in for Robin today. Robin couldn't be here because she's out of town due to health issues or health reasons, probably a good way to say it. This next one is interesting, and I want to play it, this news story. The title of this is on YouTube, Family and Doctors Push for Change After Teen's Kratom Death. I think that one deserves a look. Let's see what this is all about.
After a Cloquet teen died from a widely available drug that faces few regulations, loved ones and medical experts are pushing for change tonight. The drug is called Kratom, and it's often sold as drinks, shots, powders, tablets, capsules, and gummies. In small amounts, Kratom acts as a stimulant and is often marketed as an energy booster or a tool for managing anxiety. But in higher doses, it can have severe effects or even be deadly. Kratom is not federally regulated, and while it's not fully regulated on the state level either, in Minnesota, a new law did go into effect in August, raising the legal age to buy Kratom from 18 to 21. And Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson spoke with locals who want more action on this crisis and medical professionals who say they see this ruining people's lives every single day.
People on the Iron Range are feeling the impacts of a tragedy in Cloquet. In memory of 15-year-old Parker Martindale, communities are coming together while local advocates launch a campaign to warn about the dangers of Kratom, an unregulated substance that's widely available across Minnesota.
Kratom is sold in smoke shops, gas stations, and even some food stores.
Same class of medications that like fentanyl, oxycodone, hydrocodone, methadone.
It's a fight against a quiet crisis fueled by a plant that many assume is safe just because it's legal.
They've taken that and then they've concentrated it and sold it and packaged it into pills, which has a much higher risk of leading to addiction, has a much higher risk of leading to a nasty withdrawal syndrome.
Without FDA regulation, there's no oversight to stop other harmful substances from being mixed in. Doctors say that lack of control has led to a 5-fold increase in local Kratom overdoses, including for 15-year-old Parker Martindale, who family says died from a lethal amount of synthetic Kratom, thinking it was an ordinary energy supplement.
What really happens after a 21-year-old purchases it and brings it home, especially when it's marketed like a 5-hour energy drink?
Now his family and local business owners are turning their pain into a mission to save others.
Not having accessible places where you can go get help, find resources, go to meetings, that adds to that number.
In the meantime, Parker's family has started a petition to ban Kratom sales locally, but doctors warn of a double-edged sword.
The concern is that as regulation increases, that these things go away. And then where do they turn? You get something off the street, it will be fentanyl.
Organizers are still looking for volunteers to help with Parker's memorial events on September 12th. We'll have more details on our website.
All righty.
15 years old, like, I mean, something like that. If the kids are getting this at 15 years old out of a gas station, then they need to start holding these gas stations responsible for not properly carding.
Well, these products shouldn't even be in a gas station.
No, I agree. But, you know, people sit there and get on that for, you know, I don't believe they should be in a gas station. You want to put it in a smoke shop, there's got to be some sort of, you know, like,
yeah,
you need to be educated on what products you have in there, you know, not like, you know, just throw it on the shelves and they're like, oh, it's not Kratom, or, oh, this is, you know, they have no idea what they're doing. They're just throwing it on the shelves, you know, the Feel Freeze, the OPMS, all these other ones that are just sitting out there on the shelves. They got to come off the shelves because that's where we're having the issues right now is gas station stuff. That seems to be the big thing, the gas station heroin.
Yep.
That's our problem. Get it out of the gas stations. Why did a 15-year-old have it?
That's how a 15-year-old had it, for sure.
And if you know, a gas station, it is in there, then have a penalty for the business selling it to somebody who's not even of age. So
absolutely.
then
Don't they do
minimize the
that with
problems there.
minors and alcohol?
Oh, I used to buy cigarettes all the time. I used to
Right.
buy alcohol all the time, you know, before I was of legal age. I didn't get carded until, no lie, I got carded on my 21st birthday for the first time to buy alcohol. It's just, it's baffling. Going after the wrong things.
Yeah. For
The
sure.
amount of fight that they've put on, just like a freaking Plant Botanical, you've not seen it at all like that directed towards the opioid epidemic. Where are they for this? You don't see anybody fighting back. Why is the opioid epidemic not being posted all over the news? Why are people not being talked about? More fentanyl death. Because if that's the case, literally that's all that would be on the news.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. Thank you to all the people here live with us. There's so many of y'all tuning in live. We got a bunch of people over on X as well. We just, I just bumped up my X to a premium so we can live stream on there as well. We appreciate everybody's support. And if anybody wants to help, we are actively fundraising to help support our costs in doing that, where me and Venus and Twinkle are trying to really ramp up what we're doing on X, because it's such a great platform for getting information out, getting all the advocacy information, keeping people informed. It works really well for that because there's no censorship. TikTok is gone off the rails with censorship right now. Their AI bots are terrible, and it's just so bad over there right now. They're really suppressing us from talking about Kratom. But
even the live now was a little bit less than it was.
Oh
the last
yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yesterday's live, our Friday TikTok live.
All right, guys, I've got numbers. Keep these numbers in your head from Massachusetts, okay? Total deaths preliminary opioid-related overdose deaths in 2025, 978, okay? The historical context, this is the first time the annual total has dropped below 1,000 since 2013. That's pretty good. So 27% decrease from 2024 and nearly a 60% decline from the record high of 2,364 deaths in 2022. So that's where Massachusetts is right now. I'm literally screenshotting this all because I want to know in a month from now, or even a couple of weeks from now, like we probably won't have these numbers, but it's going to go on the rise. Like the decline alone, 2,364 deaths in 2022 alone. This is, and 978 last year. That's a very phenomenal drop from 2022. Like, let's see how much protecting she's about ready to really do, because the harm is already started.
Yeah, it's concerning for sure. You'll probably heard that this week RFK Jr. was out speaking somewhere, and he was being hounded by reporters about the whole taking in donations from Big Kratom. Let me play this news story. It doesn't have the best audio, but it's quite interesting to watch this.
I'm wondering, you fought very hard to get a ban on 7-OH. People also say that natural leaf kratom is addictive. What are you doing to fight that scourge?
Well, FDA is looking at that issue right now.
The Justice Department dropped its case against Feel Free, and Maha Pak received a $1 million donation. Does that have anything to do with the DOJ?
I don't know anything about either of the things that you just said. I have no idea who the $1 million donation.
It was from Jerry Ross of Feel Free.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about that. And I don't make decisions for the Justice Department.
Are you in the pocket of Feel Free, sir?
Excuse
Are
me?
you in the pocket of Feel Free?
Thank you very much for joining us today to talk about our kids and their healthy futures. And Florida is going to continue to lead the way. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. So you have no knowledge of that $1 million donation?
Wow.
Yeah.
He was hounded. How do you not know of $1 million? I mean, if somebody donated $1 million, I think I read somewhere that was like the single highest donation he got too. Was $1 million. Wouldn't somebody remember that they got $1 million?
Yeah, I think you'd remember.
Oh, you'd think you'd know.
And the bottom line is, I'm just somebody that seeks truth. Okay. I just want to know the truth. Be truthful with the American public with this stuff. I mean, if you're taking money, then don't pretend you're not. But it sure makes you wonder, like, what the heck is going on with all of this? There's receipts on it with all this money.
Right. And how it's influencing them and their decisions that they're making.
Yeah.
But he shut it right down. He wasn't going to give no explanation.
No, of course
gotta
not.
Gotta go.
Well,
gotta
to
go,
say he
bye.
doesn't know anything about $1 million donation, come on.
Yeah.
There's receipts that show he got that much money when he was campaigning at some point. So you don't remember. I think I would remember if somebody donated $1 million. If anybody wants to donate $1 million to us gals, I promise I'll remember. I won't run away from the reporter and say, "Oh, I don't remember that."
Forever.
So, I just, not enough transparency in politics, that's for sure. It's just, they should be more, when there's the receipt. Look, you can't run away from receipts. When people bring the receipts, you can talk the big talk all you want. I have a good video I'm going to show y'all later for that. If anybody has to leave this here live and you can't check later with the replay and catch the end. You can't talk a big talk and then think there's no receipts. People usually have receipts.
I've brought receipts and then I'm like, well, that was just a couple of years ago. That's not how it is now. No, if they were corrupt, then they're still corrupt now. It's like that, people always go, once a cheater, always a cheater, kind of a saying.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, we know a lot of these politicians take a lot of money. And it takes a lot of money to run for office, to run for anything. And I know RFK Jr., he ran for president at one point, right? I mean, I think that's when this big donation had happened. But there's been other donations, too, that have come up with Homeland Security guy, Mark Wayne Mullen. And nobody's being forthcoming with information.
Mm-mm.
Anyway.
And to keep track of all this, and everywhere where there might be some corruption at, it's just hard to keep, for the ordinary person, just to keep track and know where to look each time, I think for the donations, you can track them. But there's just so many ways that they're able to be corrupt that it's really hard to be able to keep track of all that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've got an interesting video I came across I wanted to play for y'all. So there's this guy in Oklahoma who's running for attorney general. And this is just a good time to remind everybody, elections are coming up all around the country for a variety of things. And for those that are trying to, advocate hard to keeping your kratom legal where you live, you want to reach out to people, not just people in current office, but people running for office. Venus is going to talk about that in just a bit. But this video is interesting because you got this guy running for office of attorney general in Oklahoma, and he has some things to say about kratom. So I think y'all are going to find this interesting.
Let's go try to buy some kratom. A month ago, Evan Bartholomew, a 20-year-old Yukon High graduate, walked into a gas station, bought a single pill, and died. Kratom. Evan's death is one of 56 the Oklahoma Medical Examiner says that kratom has contributed to since January of 2025. Got it. This is it. Acts on the same brain receptors as heroin. It's sold in all forms, wellness drinks, energy drinks, pills, powders, fun packages, and flavoring. Baja Blast. Your kid might be able to walk into a gas station and buy it as easily as I did. No real ID check. The law says you got to be 18 to buy it, but enforcement's weaker than gas station coffee. And federal health officials say that teens are the fastest growing groups using this product. That's not an accident. That's a business model built on nobody checking. Oklahoma leaders love to talk about protecting kids until it affects their bottom line. Oklahoma's own Mark Wayne Mullen, our Homeland Security Secretary, owns up to $1 million in a kratom company. And he pushed the FDA to pull the warnings off their website, despite calling the kratom industry illegal when he was in the Senate. Here's the deal. Mullen gets to pick which hat he's wearing, concerned senator or kratom investor. Everyday Oklahomans, though, don't get that luxury. And this self-dealing is the type of conduct that the AG should be calling out, not covering for. Here's the gap nobody's talking about. Kratom isn't classified as a controlled substance, so Oklahoma's own Narcotics Bureau doesn't have jurisdiction to enforce against it. The job falls entirely on the health department, which doesn't have the manpower to inspect every gas station in the state. As AG, I'm going to use consumer protection laws to go after retailers that sell adulterated or mislabeled products to minors. I'm going to push to close that jurisdictional gap so OBN and other agencies can actually go after Kratom. Because protecting kids isn't optional. It's the job.
Okay. I don't think you expect that from somebody running for attorney general. When it first came on, it looked like he was just a YouTuber, like everybody else talking about Kratom. It didn't look like somebody running for office at first. Woo, okay. What do y'all think of that?
I definitely think that whoever lives in Oklahoma needs to find out who's running against this guy and find out what their stance is on Kratom too, and maybe educate him. Maybe emails to even him will educate him to change his stance to regulation instead of just getting it out of the, just banning everything.
Well, this guy did say at the end that he wants to go after the retailers.
The retailers.
See, this is why we need regulations. We need common sense regulations. We need retailers held responsible. It really should just simply not be in the gas stations. But we keep hearing this push constantly by one person. Well, Nora Valco from NIH says, it should be available to people who are suffering addiction because, they're not going to be comfortable going to not comfortable going to a smoke shop. I mean, I think a lot of times that's where they go is to a smoke shop, not a convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that was weird.
I'm not buying that one. I mean, and I'm not dismissing Dr. Nora Valco. She's one of the most incredible Kratom researchers. She has put a lot of government money into researching Kratom. She's done a lot of amazing work, but it's just a reminder, is a narrative we're being pushed on because, here's something this doctor said, and this is a way to justify, let's have these in the convenience stores because then, donors like that. That's where they're selling their products. But how is this for the greater good? Why don't we just take money out of the picture? Let's just make this strictly about let's help people get access to Kratom that's safe, that's legal, and that helps people and helps with harm reduction and helps people with pain.
Exactly.
It's not happening in the convenience stores.
No.
It's done way more harm. Way more.
And I don't know if the chronic pain community I don't think that they are getting their things from the convenience stores.
They're not. Very few, if any, it would be very few. No, the people getting at the convenience store are, look at this product right next to the 5-hour energy drink. It must be safe.
Or I heard about gas station heroin. Is that it?
Oh, 100%. Can you imagine all the minors going, y'all, there's this stuff right at the gas station. We can just walk in and get it because it's right there at the register. They call it gas station heroin. You want to try it?
Exactly.
Well, you would think that would scare them away because heroin and all that, like literally is, scaring, to me, it scares off a lot of people, like nodding out and overdosing. Like, why would someone rush to go take something like that then if that's really how,
well, we watched
heroin, but it's not.
We watched a video. I wish I still, I did lose my YouTube channel last year and I lost all these old videos. We watched a couple of years ago, I know Venus will remember, we had this video I played. It was like this guy he seemed like he was about 20 years old. And he was so excited he could buy this stuff that's called gas station heroin. He made a whole video like, y'all, this is going to be my heroin. And he was, and I remember he was, Venus, wasn't he kind of disappointed?
He was so disappointed that he didn't get high with it, that didn't get my high.
We had the best time watching that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I still had that. I wonder if I could go find that video on YouTube. It was so
I
memorable.
remember that one. I remember you guys playing.
I don't remember it.
He was so excited. It was years ago. He was so excited. This is going to be my heroin. And I'm going to try it and let y'all know. He was so excited. Like he was literally excited about it. It was just crazy. But
some people would be. I mean, I guess it could go either way. Some people would be. You put it out like that, and somebody who wants to try something along those lines, of course they're going to go get it or try it at least.
Yeah. Y'all have some great comments in the live chat. Thank y'all for sharing your thoughts on it. Y'all have lots to say. I love this. Really great comments. And yeah, I mean, if things were regulated, standardized, I mean, it sounds like the extracts are getting more standardized with the dropper we keep hearing so much about. And that sure is a lot better than how, I've had so many people on my Kratom Stories podcast share their story of getting addicted to Kratom extracts because there was no standardization. It was like a little bottle and in tiny, tiny print, 3 servings, 9 servings or 10. Like, I know one of them was like 10 servings. And people said, I didn't look at that. I just saw a little bottle and I drank the whole.
Yeah, right. And they just take it.
That's the thing. If you have these things standardized and behind a counter, you would help keep.
But actually, the 5-hour energy, and I didn't even know it at first, it is also 2 servings. And
see, I didn't know that.
It's 2 servings. I'm almost.
Wow.
Let me look it up.
I've had them. It was a long time ago, but I was sometimes because
my mom drank them a lot.
The psychology is it's at the gas station, it's at the convenience store. It must be safe. They're at the grocery store.
It must be okay, right?
Yeah. I know I did not ever take like just half of one. I know when I've had.
No, you just downed a whole bottle and
about
your day.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'd be really surprised if that was the case. I'm normally very good about reading everything, but they make the fine print so small.
Oh, it says it is 1 serving. I could have swore I looked at 1, so I'm wrong. But the manufacturer recommends drinking half the bottle.
Oh,
interesting. And that's what
interesting.
I've always pretty much did. Like I've had them before, so that's exactly what I do.
So it says single serving, but the manufacturer. Read it to us. That's interesting.
I said, is 5-hour energy 2 servings? And it says, no, a standard 5-hour energy bottle contains 1 serving, but the manufacturer recommends drinking half a bottle, 1/2 serving for moderate energy or the whole bottle for maximum energy. 1 bottle is 1.93 to 2 fluid ounces. It's listed as 1 serving on the supplement label. Half a bottle recommended for moderate energy or as a test for your caffeine tolerance.
And feel free the little shots. Those are 2 servings, but most people would just down it in 1.
Most people
right.
They talk about how they got addicted to it and they were drinking like 6, 7, 8 a day. And it's like, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. No wonder such a big money maker. Because
how do you afford that?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And they're typically $10 a bottle, right? So I mean, I'm so glad we just watched this video with that guy running for attorney general in Oklahoma, because one of the things I love that Venus does Venus is hands down the most proactive Kratom advocate out there.
She is.
She contacts people running for office that she's a constituent of, that she wants to talk to them while they're running to find out where they stand on Kratom, to share her personal story and see if they're going to be on board with what her beliefs are, and let them know that, I'll vote for you if, you're on board with Kratom, because it's important to me as a consumer. I love that. Venus, tell everybody, first of all, what got you to start doing that? Because I never have heard of anybody doing that until I met you years ago. And I just don't hear people talking about doing that. And it's brilliant what you do.
Well, it started with, I don't know if anybody out there remembers the sports arena that was next door. And I had to contact my representatives for that to try and figure out how to get them to stop doing what they were doing. And when they didn't give me the answers that I wanted, I thought, well, why don't I find out who's running against them and contact them and see if they can help me and what they can do. And that's where that started. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to do this for that, I can do the same thing with plain leaf Kratom if they're not agreeing with my stance, or even that's the other ones that are in office or that have a stance I don't like, know that I am checking into the other people that are running for office too.
I think it's super smart.
Thank you.
Because you're learning more about them And that's a good thing for anybody to do if you're a voter, and knowing more about your local officials and even your state and the ones running in federal government, knowing what their stance is on things, and sharing what your values are and what you stand for and believe in, and letting them know. And I'm sure most times they don't even know what Kratom is, I would imagine, right?
No, most of the people, I mean, even my representatives that are in office now didn't know where Kratom was until I contacted them. And they're pretty good. The ones that are in office now that are in my local district and my state senator, they've been pretty supportive in everything. But what I didn't realize was, like you just played with the Attorney General, and I'm embarrassed to say this, I mean, I would look at my representatives and things like that, but I didn't look at the Attorney General and other things that people were running for or what they even did. And so this year I went with ChatGPT and I was like, who else should I contact? Who else would be important in the Kratom fight? And that's when they had brought up the Attorney General, because although they don't make the actual laws or have anything to do with it, they have something to do with enforcing the regulations that come through after the laws go through. So I just wanted to make sure that whoever I voted for had the same beliefs and understood, even if the person that is running now doesn't get voted in, which hopefully he will, Dwayne Bensing, he'll be educated, he'll remember me. And I've told him, you have my phone number, you have my address, if you find anybody or you need any information, you can contact me now. So it's opened up another dialogue with somebody no matter what happens in the future.
I love that. It's such a smart way to advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted to share with you all now is I took the information of this most recent one that Venus has done, simply an email exchange back and forth between the Attorney General, running for Attorney General in Delaware, where she lives, where she's a constituent. And you gave me permission to share this. And I think this is interesting to help others. So basically, what Venus did, and this is something all of us can do, as simple as sitting at your computer or your phone. And as a voter in her state there, she wants to start a conversation with this person running for office. So she reached out to him. She literally sent an email. And so find out who's running for different things that you could vote for. And just, she started real simple, just letting them know she's a Delaware voter. She found this email address. She's just trying to find out who to best contact.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard because these people are sometimes, they're just like you and I, and they decided to run. And it's hard to find information on them, or maybe they don't have a big staff or anything like that. So I started with their site where they're saying, I can't think of it now, but where they put everything out there about them and what they're running for and what their stance is. And then I asked if there was a way to, because they ask you to come support them. How can you come support us, or ask how you can help us? And that's where I started to ask, where can I send this email to, because I want to ask each person that's running the same question. And then from there, that's when he got back to me and I was able to keep going.
And you're utilizing ChatGPT to help you get all this information together. Is that right?
Yes.
Like what to say in these emails. So you got to respond back, thanking you for reaching out and would like to chat more. So you shared your story in an email back to them, talking about your plain leaf kratom. And so ChatGPT just helped you put together
all of it.
I mean, there's a longer email. I'm just highlighting, some of the main things: your personal story, your position. You brought up regulation and this question: do you support or this is brilliant? I love this. Do you support or oppose prohibition of plain leaf kratom in Delaware? I love that. I think that's brilliant. And then you heard back.
Yep, I was so excited.
He sent a really nice email back to you, because you shared your personal story. And then he talks about his personal story, being a caregiver for his grandmother. So he already identifies with your struggles because of the situation. And then to answer your questions directly, he opposes. This is amazing. It just took an email exchange. And you're not going to hear back from everybody, but you took a moment to do this. And you sent this, you said, to 3 candidates, right?
Yeah, to the one that's in office now, and then him, and then there was somebody else running too. And he was the first and only one that got back to me. And that meant a lot to me. And this is the way the people in office should be treating every single one of you out there. They should be getting back to you, either them or their aide, with this information and answering your questions and listening to your stories.
Yeah, wait, hold on, let me move you up so we can see you here. Yeah, I agree. And you can even call, you can be email, which is easiest. You can call, but everybody in the comments here really loves that you did this. And by you doing this, you're showing us how we can all do this too. And this is the kind of thing we need more people learning how to do.
Oh, definitely. And it's not hard. Once you get started and you build up that momentum and start learning where to find out the things like, oh, there's an election on the 15th. And then you start finding out more about, because when I used to look at the ballot, it used to just look like all these names. And I thought, how can I find out about all these different people? And then once you start learning about it, it gets a little bit easier each time, each year, I guess. So.
Yeah.
And it's so important.
Yeah, you should teach a class on this. Well, I mean, we're kind of doing it here. We're teaching a little mini class here. And yes, Jamie, it's just getting started. Key statement for sure.
Yeah.
It's just taking the time, using ChatGPT or any other AI tool for help, because I use ChatGPT a lot with your advocacy work.
Oh, I do. Every single state that I go in, I start out at ChatGPT so that I can go back to that thread each time that state comes back up. And I can do a little search and just pull up the different bills. And it just makes it so easy to write out the emails to each person and to remember. And I don't have it do like the whole email. Basically, I'll tell it what I want to have in the email and what I want to say. And I usually don't flow very well. And that's what chat does, is help me make it flow well so that it's not all choppy. So they're my words. They just help me put it into perspective and flow.
I just love that. You're such a great advocate in the community, and you come up with some really unique ways to get your message out, and ways we can be inspired.
Well, and the ChatGPT I learned from you, thankfully, and I still use the free account too. So a lot of these things you don't have to pay to get them. They'll have free options that you can use too.
I wanted to put 2 cents in on this. I tend to use Gemini more than ChatGPT. So for people that don't use that one, any of the other ones should work just as well.
All of them. They're all, Perplexity is a good one, especially for research. Grok is good. Grok is really good when your research also involves X, because it has all the data. That's, and X is such a great platform for information, especially real-time information. But really, any AI tool, all those large language models can be helpful. And I know most of y'all don't know this. I host a live stream every Thursday afternoon, sharing the latest things I've picked up in social media. I mostly talk about ChatGPT, and I also talk about Magi, which is an all-in-one AI tool where everything is in it. You pay just the one fee, and you've got access to everything in one place. But I've been teaching a lot of this stuff for a long time, so I know Venus and Christopher are always tune in a lot to. It's just a bunch of free information I put out, because it's something that I do in my work life. Has nothing to do with Kratom, but a lot of it applies to Kratom.
Exactly, a lot of it, and it helps us learn how to use all these platforms more efficiently to do what we want to do to advocate.
Yeah, I really love that you and Christopher in the Kratom community have really, come over to learn more, because it's not something I do for the Kratom community. It's something I do in my business world. But, anybody that wants to learn more about all of this stuff, I have a YouTube channel. I do the weekly live stream on my YouTube. I also have the replays available, and I just started doing a kind of like a best of, like the abbreviated version. So, because my live stream is usually an hour-ish, And there's some bantering in there, kind of like here. It's a group of panelists that I bring on, and I just talk about the latest AI stuff I've uncovered just to help other people. And on my YouTube channel, I have the non-live stream version that's just usually about 30 minutes ish. That just kind of gives you all the best of conversation. Let me pull it up real quick and I'll show y'all. But yeah, I'm just somebody that just loves to share information. That's how I've always been. When I learn new things, and since this is more of my primary work stuff, it's just something I'm just very passionate about. But anyway, over at Madeline Sklar on YouTube. But yeah, it's very AI heavy. My live stream is called AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter. Also have a school community for that, so that's where my weekly live streams are. And then in the video section is the shorter, the best of episodes, so it's the short version. And the thing we talked about this week, and this could be very helpful to people in the Kratom community that want to learn how to use this more, is the new feature on ChatGPT on the free account. The ChatGPT scheduled task feature is something that's available on the paid account. So I've already been using it for years, but they now have this available on the free. And so, and actually, one of the ways I actually, let me explain, because I do have this amazing way I've been using this feature that you all have access to on a free ChatGPT. I've had it for a while because I have the paid $20 a month account. So what I do every day is I have ChatGPT put together what I call my Kratom briefing. And it goes and collects information for me from all these different sources I've given it. And I have it report to me once a day. But lately, because there's so much going on in the Kratom world, let's face it, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. I have it reporting to me twice a day right now, and just giving me the latest. It gives me links to everything, all the sources. It's keeping me updated with HHS and all the stuff with 7.0. And is up-to-date information. It's not always 100% accurate. That's why I don't ever take every AI tool at face value. If something doesn't look right, I mean, I always check the sources because I want to make sure I'm getting legitimate info, but it's helping me share more information onto X. That's why I signed up for the premium account on X and paying for it now, because I just want to put out more of this helpful, newsworthy information that helps the Kratom community stay more educated and how to do more advocacy stuff. But ChatGPT is helping me with these daily briefings. I love it. And it's easy to do. Go over my YouTube and watch the replay from this week. And I walk through how to use this. And there's, for anybody, if you don't have a paid ChatGPT, now there's no excuse, because they allow you to have up to 3 scheduled tasks in a free ChatGPT account, which is pretty cool. And it's one of the best features. It's one of the best features they have. So, Venus, did you get some new ideas of how to, you probably like my little chat Kratom briefing thing I'm doing. I'm sure you'll come up with some interesting ways to take advantage
to use
of that
them all.
feature.
Yeah, my neighbor's using a chainsaw. Maybe you can hear it over here.
I don't hear it.
Oh, good. This noise cancellation does pretty good.
I don't hear it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is great.
I don't hear it either.
You got some good noise canceling just from, old school headphones.
Yeah, just from the app. Yep.
Yeah. I got an interesting video. It's super short, but I wanted y'all to see this because sometimes these people put out these videos. I think it's just a short clip from an interview, but some information that is not very accurate.
And then I got into, I was driving while I was on Kratom, and I got into a very bad car accident. And I ended up going to the hospital. And I asked for a painkiller that I did not need. I faked a foot injury. And I asked them for a painkiller. And at that point, as soon as I took it, I was like, I relapsed. And then I started over again.
It's real short. That's it. But it's like she's talking as if you can't drive when you take Kratom. She was on.
They've already established that you can, and you can drive safely with Kratom. It's already been established. It's already been studied.
Research.
Dr.
Kristen Smith
and Kristen, right? And so
she did a study on that, and natural leaf Kratom does not impact driving. So it's been studied, but this girl talked as if.
Then
well,
she faked an injury to get a pain pill. I mean, that's why we can't go.
That's why we can't get our meds.
That's why we can't get it. So, and then people make these excuses. Look, if your doctor shoved pain pills down your throat, or if somebody else did that and held a gun to your head, I'd have your back and defend you and try to do everything I can for you. But until then, it's personal responsibility and accountability. Nobody else did that, do you? You got to know on the onset, you take something you're not, you don't prefer, you'd have to feel it and know you're not supposed to take it anymore. Instead, they take it and take it and take it, and then something happens, and then they call it addiction, and then T gets blamed, and so does 7. So we just have to stop and be accountable.
Agreed. But that girl's making it out like Kratom is so bad. If you're on it and you drive, you're going to crash.
Yeah, it's always a story. It's always a story, and a deceitful one. You literally lied to the doctor. And was,
that's just awful.
I don't know. Might want to.
And this is why we can't have nice things,
That's
like that.
Right.
Gosh.
That's right.
Yeah.
For the people that do use, the pharmaceuticals and, need them, because I'm not saying there isn't a need for pharmaceuticals and they don't have its place, because they do. But for those that need them and can't get them and have no idea about anything, holistic, what the heck? Like, we have people who are having babies and literally having a C-section and giving ibuprofen. Like, that's just barbaric. I'm sorry. Like, I don't think so. Like, we didn't do that years ago. So why are we doing that now to these women? Like my friend who at the time, she was going back and forth from Massachusetts and Florida, but she had Mass Health, and she came out here and she got herself a full mouth extraction because her teeth had been so bad from using Suboxone for years. And she messaged me and she asked me if I had any pain medicine, and I did, but I didn't give it to her because one, I knew she had a problem beforehand, and 2, like, you just don't, especially when you're in your own pain. It's like, I can't spare any because I don't even have enough for myself, type of a situation. And she ended up going on the streets because she did a full mouth extraction. They gave her literally a total of 4 pain pills that was supposed to last her 2 days. And they give you that for like, a couple of teeth versus a full. I don't understand the concept of how they figured that one out. And she went to the streets and got medication that she thought was like, hydrocodone or something, and it killed her. And she's been gone, she's been gone quite some time. And I lived with guilt for a little while with that, because I'm like, okay, had I given her, my meds, like, she'd still be here. But, I can't say that, I don't know if she would still be here. I don't know if she would have still gone out, because I know I would not have been able to give her what she needed to ease her mouth pain. And it's just, it's sad.
Don't carry that on your heart.
Yeah, no, I worked through a lot of that.
Sad.
Yeah. She's been gone for a little over a decade now, or just actually a little under a decade now. Sorry. And one of my friends that I had met in the Kratom community through her, we do get to talk to her, talk about her every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, almost 10 years ago, she passed, and it's, something I worked through therapy, but like, this is what people are facing every single day, going out for either a medical procedure or, having a baby, or, just simply living with chronic pain. Like, they can't even get what they should be given. And as someone who did dental assisting, like doing a full mouth extraction, that's painful. I've seen, oh gosh, you've had one tooth taken out. One tooth taken out is crazy. Were you swollen and like black eyes?
My lips wouldn't go together. In fact, I came home that day and I was on the CDC call for the opioid prescribing that day, and still was able to be a part of that. But that was so bad and it was so painful. My husband had treatment. I had mild, sedation for his. My son just had 2 wisdom taken out, and he also did. But mine was just some needle numbing. That was it, and it was horrific. It was awful. It was just awful.
See, I had 8 done in 3 sittings, but the doctor was like, here, and I took them. I filled them. I never used them, but I can't, not everybody reacts the same. I was able to take a red every 2 hours the first day. But I
mean, if it's an easy extraction, that's one thing. But then there's stuff that goes up into your sinuses. Yeah.
Oh my, I can't even imagine.
I mean, it's just, it's inhumane how
doctors
people
now
are being
that
treated.
are just not prescribing for anything now.
They don't believe in it at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And it's
terrible.
And the reason I
scary.
lost mine was because of the Suboxone I had been on, and it was just one. If I could have done it, I would have just got a partial, but I didn't have the money. It was cheaper to do it the way that I did.
Right.
Than it was. I was like, I'm 47. This is going to come eventually. Luckily, my bottom are mine, and I'll try to get a partial eventually. But it's just, it was painful, and I feel bad for her because that was painful. It would,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Depending
I mean,
on
childbirth or, a full mouth extraction, and being told to take ibuprofen, it's
scary. And now
it
you've
is.
got doctors in that mindset, and now you've got states banning. So what are people supposed to do?
What are we supposed to have? And then they're like, oh, well, 7 should be in pharmaceutical control. No, it absolutely shouldn't. Because again, there's different dosing size. The max I will take is, 35 milligrams. The least I take and I get relief is 20 milligrams. Venus is different, or not Venus, but Twinkle is different with her dosing, and I mean, and even with Kratom, we are all like, I take 7.5 grams, everybody else might not take as much as I do, but this is what works for me, and we had someone, prime example of someone, taking too much. They didn't know what they were doing. They were like, hey, I took 600 milligrams of 7-OH my very first time. Well, first and foremost, they were here to talk about it. First and foremost, they were here to talk about it. They didn't die. They didn't have the respiratory depression. They felt like crap. They learned a lesson. And, and like anything, what do we always say? Start small. Less is more. You don't, just because you may have and I'm seeing this a lot, like people are like, oh, I've got chronic pain. How is 7-0? How about start with plain leaf? Look into plain leaf. Don't jump into an extract. Little, and I explained my story. I started with plain leaf. Yes, I had to add extract to it, but I live with 10 out of 20 of the most painful conditions to live with. And then add my entire back issues and every, arthritis, all the itises, I have them all, diverticulitis, even. It's like,
me too.
It's like, I take very little for my pain now. There's sometimes I'll dose once a day with Kratom and I can go out the whole day. There's sometimes I dose 3 or 4 times a day. Sometimes I'll use 7 once a day. Sometimes I'll use it once every few weeks, but I use MIT extracts on a regular basis, especially first dose of the day. Otherwise my body's not moving for a bit, but I dose less, utilizing everything. I dose less. When I used to go and couldn't stop, I was, dosing at least 6 times a day and at 7.5 grams a piece. That's a lot of powder on the tummy. And it, caused constipation issues. It caused, but it's, this is what works for me. So, and I'm, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're probably taking that crap out of the gas station. I love how people assume about me. Like, I'm not an addict. I'm not a junkie. I'm not out here. I'm dependent on pain relief. That's what people don't understand. I am dependent on people, pain relief. I
absolutely understand.
I would never wish ill on anybody. But I mean, if we were able to swap bodies for a second, all these people who sit there and talk, oh, take this or take that, step in my body on a good day, not even a bad day, because I don't wish anybody pain, but like step in my body on a really
it's quite
good day.
bold to dictate what somebody else should do with their own lives. It's very pushy. It's very judgmental. It's very, in a way, it's even stuck up.
It is. It's not. I'm not going. Don't have that cigarette. Don't have that bite of food. Don't have the alcohol. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you to go out and use 7-0 or go out and use an extract.
They need to focus on their own lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Worry about yourselves and fight for everyone. If worry about yourself. If this is what's working for you as the plant, first and foremost, fight for yourself. And then everybody else who's with the plant, because you fighting for yourself for this plant is helping the next person that is also fighting for the plant. If everybody put a little bit of fight in, one email to their senators, their governors, each time that one of these bans were going on, that's advocating. You don't have to necessarily walk into a facility to be considered showing up for your state or advocating for your state. I advocate, like I've gotten so many times, well, what do you do for this community? And I'm just like, I'm not like the one that sits there and goes to like toot my own horn, but like, hi, are you new? I'm labeled a big loudmouth advocate here. I'm a loudmouth advocate. I go to every single state I can here on the East Coast. I go to every single state I can via Zoom anywhere else. Venus was my girl. Hey, this is on. Okay. Hey, this is on. One after the next, after the next. I have been to probably at least one Zoom call in every ban hearing that has been available, and if I cannot attend the ban hearings on a Zoom call, all my emails are going into every single one of those the state legislators, every single one of them. I don't care what side they're on either. I don't care. Everybody's going to get it, So we're just because we don't physically sit out in a courtroom, these hard wooden, benches. I physically struggle very hard when I sit on those benches, just because people aren't there physically in person doesn't mean they're not actually, advocating. If you don't see them, maybe they're not advocating. But you'd also, these are people. We're going state by state. You would think you'd be seeing, our larger representatives every single state, but we're not. And, we're fighting hard. And just like 2016, it has been the consumer's voice that has been heard. I mean, look at the numbers alone just for positive comments on 7OH that have been,
it's unreal.
That's 10,000, literally a smidge more than 10,000 from 2016 for pure leaf kratom. And these aren't all strictly all 7O. These are people who are supporting the plant in general, because if you ban 7OH or you ban pseudoindoxil, you ban, you ban these things.
Plants, the plant
you take one out. You can't take the alkaloid out of something that's naturally occur, even if it's in the most minute small thing that's naturally occurring. When it sits there, like you can have, a simple, bag of kratom. And it sits and it sits and it sits and it sits. Well, that little bit of 7 is breaking down and oxidizing, and it's changing to pseudoindoxil. Those little, the little, shots, the liquid shots that are out there on all of these shelves that are you finding at the gas station, those are getting this. The longer it sits, it seems to get stronger. The tests come back different for the pseudo after a bit too. After it sits. So to say that it's not naturally occurring is false, because the science proves that it does. You know what I'm saying? So you can't eeny, meeny, miny, mo the alkaloids, my friends. You cannot choose an alkaloid and say ban it. You need to say, please say regulation. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but please, for your own good, I don't care if you want to use 7 or not. I'm not telling you to. Regulation needs to be the language that we're using, because the word ban is killing everybody who's going to be using this plant from their fight. Like, it's just, you're taking the wind out of everybody's sails by using this word ban. You're making us fight harder than we already need to fight.
Yep. And people are bothered by me for asking the questions and saying what I say about the whole plant. We need to preserve this whole plant. But then, I could be bothered by them for not getting it. Like, how could you not see this? How can you pluck away alkaloids and pieces and parts and ban it from the plant and not think that there's not going to be some backfire?
And it's still like, and it all metabolites into it. So it's like people that are so against 7O, guess what? It's metabolating into 7O. You're just taking a heck of a lot more powder for my little minute nibble. You know what? It's like I'm bypassing a ton of powder to get a little nibble if that's what I need to do in that, in that given time. Right. Pseudo does work great. I've used pseudo on my pain as well, and that's, and that's part of, the kratom plant. It's a small minute of it, but it's helpful. It's helpful, it's like, and that's what works, XOXO, that's what works for you. Heck yeah. I'm glad that works for you, because you know what? I'm never going to sit here and knock anybody for what they use for their pain. Like, I'm not for alcoholics.
Exactly.
I choose not to be around it. But if they want to go out and drink, am I sitting here going, you can't drink? You ban your alcohol? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to anybody. I'm not doing that to anybody who smokes cigarettes. I'll walk around and stand away from your cigarette versus, telling you stop smoking it because I'm not a smoker. I don't take it. That should be banned. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we need to be fighting something else. We really need to be fighting something else.
The right to tell somebody else what they can do. We might not like it. We might not
7 in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's the science. The science doesn't lie. It's sad. It's sad. The science isn't lying.
Exactly.
It's out there. It's out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to advocate every single day. Go out there, be strong advocates for yourself. If you're not there in person, it's okay. Just make sure you get, an email in. That's something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Advocate.
And I always, at minimum, get emails out. I do as much as I can. Again, with the time I have, y'all do what y'all can with the time you have. Some have more time than others. Anything we can do is helpful. And email is always the quickest, easiest thing to do. So it's just best to do whatever you can. And if you can't, that's okay too.
Yeah.
There's no judgment here. Now, you may have to watch out with other people in the community because they're judgy, but we're not going to judge anybody. A lot of people just don't even know. They don't even know they can advocate, or they don't know how to advocate. I hope, if anything, people watch this and come away with like, oh, Venus has such a great idea to reach out to people running for office. I didn't even think of doing that.
And you all can do it too.
If you need help, if you guys need help, like, I had someone reach out to me today. I've not sent in an email yet. How can I, I wouldn't even know what to write, where to start. I sent them, give them your story, nothing to embellish, nothing. Just give them your story and what it's done for you and how it's benefited you. If you need help writing it, shoot me a message. You can find me on X. You can find me on, you can find me on the school community. You can find me on Facebook. Everybody sees my name right here. The spelling is the exact way on all the platforms. TikTok. I mean, I'm there. I'm everywhere. If you guys cannot find me, reach out to one of the ladies. They will absolutely get you in touch with me if you guys need help. I know that Angela, BAE, fantastic. I need it. And a lot of these, are asking for it to be put into PDF form. I am so not tech savvy. I don't get any of this stuff. I sent it right over and it was done. They just put it into PDF form and they were happy to help because it's helping the plant. And they're not sitting here going, oh, well, you take 7-0, we can't be friends, or you take 7-0, let me just block you or delete you, or if you support 7-0, what's the big deal? Well, for a year and a half, all extracts, I asked regularly for a year and a half, why is MIT okay? Why is MIT okay? I finally got the answer. Food grade solvents. That was the answer. No, nothing more, nothing less. Food grade solvents. That's what it was. Okay. So then they're okay now out of the blue. And that was 2026. So, yeah. This is tough. It's a tough situation right now.
It really is.
We've already living in an ugly world. We should be fighting the opioid epidemic. We should be fighting what's going on with our food, what's going on with the skies, these AI centers. Like, we have so much more going on in this world. Or like, how about our wonderful, people that are running the country, the things that they did, it's like, why are you coming after us chronic pain patients or people in recovery who are sober, living fantastic lives, doing our damn best, living good, good lives?
They want us to die.
Where none of us are out here being criminals. We're not getting arrested, doing lavish, weird things. Like, we just are trying to control our pain. Go focus on something a little bit more, pressing than my pretty little green plant.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yes, billionaires.
Y'all have lots to say in the chat. Yeah.
Yes, I love our chat. I really love our chat. You guys give me, you guys are so like, you guys really like,
this should be the phrase.
How much you guys are appreciated.
This should be the phrase of the day. Botanical AF.
Heck
Love
yeah.
it. Love it. That's going to be our word of our phrase. It was going to be passionate. We talked about earlier, but
botanical.
We'll save that one for next week.
How about
I love it.
AF.
I think this is the best one. Botanical AF. I love it, with an exclamation point and with a biceps emoji. I'm going to put this in the chat here. I think this is our, I still had, I mean, it's up to you all if y'all want me to keep going. I mean, I do have some more videos, but I mean, we did start late. I apologize. I had some, oops, that didn't work right. I had some audio issues. That's why we were late starting. Sorry for that. Here's the phrase to put in. If y'all are here live with us right now, or if you're watching the replay, we're at 2 hours and 4 minutes right now on the replay. But botanical AF exclamation point and your favorite emoji. I like them. Whenever it's like, you know, advocacy mode, I like doing the bicep emoji because like, ooh. Did y'all want to watch a few more videos, or do you want me to start wrapping up? Is everybody good on time, or does anybody need to go?
I'm fine with time.
Okay.
I know we all just love hanging out. It's just so much fun doing this, and it's the live chat definitely is what keeps me going because y'all have so much to say, and I'm here for it.
Exactly. I want to keep hearing it. I want to keep hearing more and more.
Well, you're all so opinionated, but that's good. I mean, that's what we need in the community. People speaking out, sharing their thoughts, what they think, and
not being afraid to share the thoughts.
Yeah, because we all learn from each other with all of this, and it's really helpful. I've learned a lot from everybody here over the years we've been doing this. But yeah, botanical AF. That's our phrase of the day. I love how we come up with cool phrases to get everybody pumped up. Okay, I found an interesting video. It seems like everybody now is a podcaster. Right? Everybody calls themselves a podcaster. People are getting together with their little fancy little podcast studios. And nothing bad. A lot of people are doing really great. Some people are like, the one I'm going to show you is like, do we need, is this necessary?
I'm excited for Dan and Sarah's.
I was just going to say, I'm excited about theirs. So Dan and Sarah, with respect, Sarah's usually here with us, but she's not here with us today. They're starting a podcast. If you watch them on social media at Mitrespect, they've been showing like kind of this behind the scenes of them starting. They're building a little podcast studio. They're going to start their own podcast. It sounds like it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you all for putting in the live chat, Botanical AF. This is great. Okay, so I came across this video of these Hollywood ladies, and watch the one on the left because I was like, oh, she looks familiar. I know who that is. Somebody that, you know, used to be famous.
Wow.
Used to be keyword because, you know, people like, let's start a podcast and act like we know everything about everything. And when you know, Kratom came up in the conversation. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Here's the name of the podcast. What do you want? ? Podcast. The What Do You Want podcast. And the title of this episode, which is 51 minutes long, we're just going to watch a 2-minute clip. The title of this is Postpartum Psychosis, OnlyFans, and Could There Be a Major Cancer Breakthrough? But Kratom came up. So let's see what these ladies who don't know what Kratom is, but they decide they have a lot to say about it, and see if you recognize who's on the left.
Follow a lot of women on TikTok, men, different things. I'll see funny videos and then I'll see something extremely tragic. And a woman was on recently who lost her son, and she said, I've never done a video like this, and I'm just going to talk about it. Her son had started something called Kratom, which is a drug that's available, not even a drug. Let me just say Kratom is available at gas stations, and it's available at variety stores.
Tell them that.
It can, but it's there. So what I want to say is her son died of it, right?
Yeah.
And they pulled this element out, this 70 something that allegedly ended up killing him and many other people. but too late for her son.
Well, I think California is the only one that's pulled it.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what is
California's always the first?
So I just looked it up.
Yep.
It is a tropical evergreen tree native to Southeast Asia. It has several chemical compounds that are much too long and hard for me to pronounce. That act on the brain's opioid receptors. So
there you go.
Low doses
That's why it feels good.
Low doses can cause stimulant effects, and high doses can have a sedative effect.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you do less, it's like a cocaine. If you do more, it's like a Xanax.
A night-night.
A night-night.
But it's highly addictive.
Well, good. I don't want to sell this. I don't.
Highly addictive.
The only reason I know about it is because I have patients that come in that want me to help their children get off of it with GLP-1.
And that helps.
GLP-1s, help flick off addiction for a lot of
But
things.
why is it available at local stores? Like
Because
what?
we just haven't caught up.
They're also in like little
Weed stores.
because I get those shot things like juices or something.
Yeah, like
and they've had that I think in it.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, oh, interesting. And then I went, I don't want to do this.
It's
I don't know
scary.
what this really is.
Oh, you actually tried it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's available in different forms, like a ginger shot,
Yeah.
and a boost of this, or
Right,
At the
whatever.
gas station.
That's so scary to me. And
Okay, we've had enough of that. Who recognizes the lady on the left? Do y'all recognize her?
I kept
Heather
waiting. I can't
Locklear,
get the
right?
Yeah.
Heather Locklear.
So
Heather Locklear just admitted she's tried one. Boy, they sure talk like they're experts and had the guy. And I love how podcasters always have to have some dude in the background who's Googling things for them.
Ready to Google,
That's such
right.
a Joe Rogan thing, but other podcasters do it too. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Like, of course they have some dude in the background, like, let me look it up, gals. Wow, they sure. And then the lady on the right who's had so much plastic surgery, her mouth, she couldn't even hardly talk normal. Oh my gosh, they sure had a lot to say about Kratom, even though they didn't really know what it was. And then what, ginger shot? Heather
And
Locklear's
the
like, yeah.
GLP-1 that all her patients that come in, and that was crazy. And if she has that many patients, then she should know a little bit more about what she's talking about than the misinformation that she is spewing now.
And it's not like those ones ain't tried every drug in Hollywood.
I was just gonna say, look
Right.
who she was married to.
I was just
She's in
gonna
the whole
say,
world.
look at who she was married to, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. You know, oh my gosh.
Who definitely could have benefited from some tea.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. But isn't that just silly that you get people all the time that go start a podcast, they talk about random things, and sometimes Kratom comes up and they talk like they know all about it.
Yeah.
And they sounded stupid. Everything that came out of them. And then Heather Locklear, I had to
Very.
double check. I'm like, did Heather Locklear at the end say she tried it? She did. But she still seemed clueless about what it was about. But talked
Definitely clueless.
But talked as if, they're the experts, and then the ginger shot. It's like Kratom doesn't come in a ginger shot. So the facelift gone sideways. I know that lady, first of all, I mean, they're not like old. The one on the right did not, I mean, she can't be that old, but to have like not being able to talk normal because it's been so much work on your face. But then again, that's
I'll have to go back and watch that because I was trying to look, follow the one that you were talking about. The one
I'll have the link. I always
back and see it again. Yeah.
I always put links to everything we watch over on our YouTube at Kratom Real Talk. I'll have it in the YouTube description for today's video. A little later today, I'll put all those in there. Yeah, it's just, and the one in the middle is like, well, it's like, I guess she sells stuff, and it's like, I'm not going to sell that.
Yeah,
so
that's what got me. Well, I'm not going to be selling that or whatever she said about
it's
it.
like, okay, lady.
I wonder what else she sells.
You don't even know what it is.
Mm-mm.
Well, they just seem to be these
Probably their choice of
has-been LA
wellness
people.
shots or something like that. Probably has them all lined up in there.
Gwyneth Paltrow products.
Yeah, Heather Locklear. I mean, yeah, she had all kinds of issues back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, she probably would have benefited from tea way back when.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so there you go. Would-be podcasters talking like they know all about Kratom. Then I came across another one, and I don't know who this girl is, but she I think I saw something where maybe she's like Maybe she's some big musician. I don't know. Let me see if I can find her name. I found an interesting one talking about Kratom. People love to get on YouTube, make a podcast, and hate on Kratom. It's crazy how many videos like this I find.
Well, it's a hot topic, so they all want the clicks, and if they're monetized, then why wouldn't they talk about it? So it's just
and
a
they
way
get lots of clicks and
making.
views. Yeah, they get lots of clicks and views, but they're the things they talk about like as if they think they're experts on this, or they share their boohoo experience, but it's always like, well, you were abusing this product is what you're doing, and not
no accountability.
taking accountability. Exactly. So anyway, let me play this one. I don't know who this girl is, but I think maybe she's like some musician or something.
We weren't in a good place because I was always using, he was always miserable. Yeah. And when that happened, I just like went off the deep end. So I started taking Kratom and I felt amazing.
The powder form?
I was taking the capsule form that you buy at a smoke shop, which sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So that was a problem.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do the powder form because I didn't want my husband to see me making it and know about it. So I was hiding that from him, but I felt amazing. I felt like I was doing everything times 10. Like I was more productive than I'd ever been. Felt like I was a better mom, a better wife. Dinner was always on the table. The house was always clean. But my husband would look at me in the eyes and be like, you're on something. Like, I know you're not there. And I was like, what are you talking about? Look at the house. Everything's together. But he always knew. And then because it worked, it would work for like a month, and then I'd buy another pack and then it wouldn't work. And then I'd have to go out and get more and hope that it would work. And this was just a cycle.
It's frustrating.
So frustrating. And I would go through withdrawals, horrible withdrawals from Kratom. I would just like everyone to know from Kratom, horrible withdrawals, and like throwing up on the floor, shaking, feeling like I was dying.
Wow.
So then I went to the smoke shop and I was like, what do I do? Because it's so inconsistent. And they were like, well, we have this new product called 7-0 and it is Kratom. It's natural, but it works so much better. It's more concentrated. So you're getting like the best part of the leaf in this little pill. And I was like, natural pain relief? Yes. Awesome. So they gave me a free pack of 5. And by that 5th one, I was completely addicted. Well, honestly, by like the 1st or 2nd, I was completely hooked. But I started taking it. I felt amazing. It felt like I did when I was taking Percocets times 10. I was nodding off. It was like being on heroin. And that lasted for 6 months. And by the end of the 6 months, I was not even a human anymore. I was literally a shell of myself.
All right. So Mike says that this is like some TikToker girl. I don't know who she is, but how much?
So
first
she
of all,
was abusing it.
Yes.
So she's exactly.
Okay, let's start with the powder. How much darn powder was she? First of all, she has inconsistency. Well, you're buying it at a smoke shop. Who knows where this is coming from? Is it even legit? Is it third-party lab tested? So how much was she taking? Was she already hiding it from her husband?
I don't believe that was the only thing.
So you're going to a
agreed.
shop with a problem already because you're saying you were on the T form in the capsules and you're going in to say, hey, what's going on with this? So they offer you another one that's stronger, more potent. Let me just take that when I already have a problem going on. So let me get that too, and then roll with that, and then say that it's the product's fault because they had no responsibility or accountability in it. That doesn't make no sense. So,
agreed.
Either that or she's storytelling and lying again because, they do. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be offending to anybody, but when you're in an active addiction, you lie. You're going to lie. You're going to tell every story, your family, everybody else, every story, and say, oh, I'm only taking something natural. I didn't do anything wrong. It was only this, because you need a cover story. And that's what's happening in a lot of these situations. And I'm not trying to be cruel in any way. I've heard all the stories before.
Yeah. I think she was taking a lot of powder. And then
if you can tell in her eyes, I've been using this 13 years. I don't believe my eyes have ever looked any different.
No, same.
No, there's no like, we don't get the pupil dilation. We're
Exactly.
like it's not pinpointed or, bugged out of our eyes. And that even with the extracts. So it's like,
so was she
come on.
taking something else and she decided
Well,
to go ahead and tell her husband
she was
that it
telling on
just
herself.
Kratom, and she needed to cover herself. She was probably taking something else.
Well, to be hiding it from her husband.
I mean,
capsules.
Yeah, hiding it.
She
I
was
I
basically
get
telling
everybody,
herself.
well, maybe because, I get why some people would hide it. Look at the negative information on the news. Look at the negative information that's being spread. I get that to a sense.
Me too.
But
Me
I
too.
mean, realistically, that was very much addict behavior,
Yeah, for sure.
because
Everything
I
she
mean,
was
if she's taking enough to nod off like she's feeling on heroin, like, I don't know. I know I personally, when I took a little too much 7-0 and I've taken a little too much Kratom, I've, gotten, how everybody, does the wobbles, we got it's the eye effect. It's kind of like, you've had a few drinks and you get the fluttery eyes. That's all. But nothing more happened from that. I wasn't nodding, nothing. I had to lay down. That was it. It was just like, well, this is a little too much. I got the little sweats, ate something, laid down, had some water, and like an hour later, I was good to go. I wasn't puking. I wasn't, convulsing. My respiratory issues were completely fine. I was breathing fine. There was no need for medical attention. I think a lot of people maybe, it's kind of like those funny, and it's funny, not funny, but it's like, how many times have we heard people calling the cops on themselves because they were too stoned? You know what I'm saying? And they go into that panic. So it's like, I often wonder if people may have taken that extra scoop of Kratom or a little bit too much extract, and it sends them into an anxiety attack and having like, anxiety or panic. And that could be their reaction to why they're going to the hospital and, oh, I'm overdosing on something when they're really not.
Right. I think you got a good point.
Yeah. Man, the comments are on fire. Y'all have so much to say with this.
Yeah,
Thank
I
y'all
love
for
this.
sharing.
I take it in front of my children. Yeah, I this day and age now, I'll literally dose as I'm driving. I don't care. Before, I used to go into like a bathroom stall and hide it. No, I don't care. I just put the powder down my throat. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care if I'm sitting at a table, if I'm at a, if I'm at a concert, if I'm just out in public.
Because you're
care.
not
If I need to
doing
dose, I
anything
dose.
wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. I mean,
I can't tell you how many people have been like, ew, what is that? Is that like a matcha? You're just not making matcha tea?
That's what it looks like.
No, it's Kratom. I take this for pain. Oh, really? And then oh, really? Oh, I've heard such bad things about
starts
that.
a conversation.
It does. It's like, well, you know me. You know me. Do you see any of those bad things that I've said, even, about plain leaf? No. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And they're like, thank you for being something that breaks the stigma that everybody just thinks everything's bad. He goes, because if you look at you, you're not, you're not inebriated. You're not acting like you're on something that would be 13 times, or now I'm seeing 20 times stronger than morphine. It's like,
right.
And then I say, are you guys seeing some ads that are, like some like TV thingies that are saying 7-0 is banned? It's not banned right now. It's not. There's a 15-day extension. Get your comments in. Get your comments in if you do happen to take 7-0H. They are looking for milligram dosing. That way they can put a regulation on it. That to me is great. If you put it, I know if you put in a comment and did not put dosing, they do suggest go back and like put your dosing in, because that's helping them to say, hey, like
that's
there's a lot
what
of
they're
people
looking
out here.
for.
That's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for
that is what they're looking for.
It's from reading what I've read and talking to a few people, it sounds like they rather regulate something than ban it. You know what I'm saying? Because look at almost 33,000 people commented in. Like, first and foremost, thank you. That right there, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Yep, 87. Oh, exactly. 87. We have customers, Wonderland, that are in their 70s and 80s. And they're like, this is the first time in 20, 30 years I've been able to get out in the garden, or I've been able to go make some bread or cookies and like do simple things, or crochet. It's like these people are getting their lives back because they've been in so much pain, and it baffles me. Like if elderly are looking at this and taking it, if our veterans, which I hate that veterans can't even use kava, but they have no problem throwing a slew of medicine at our veterans that's not helping them. The mental health department, the VA, is not helping them. So they utilize something that it wasn't reefer. So, it was legal, and now they take it away. Why? These people are fighting for our freedom, let them have a little pain management. That's not, they much rather dope them up on pharmaceuticals and send them out the door. So are we going to get the banned pharmaceuticals? No, that's killing people. I mean, it killed my mom. It's right in her freaking medical report, her toxicology report. It was not an overdose. It was not an overdose. It was just the buildup of the medication over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
I got a few more videos. We'll start wrapping up. So there's we saw a clip of this guy. I don't remember what his name is. Let me see if I can find his name. He has, Davey Jackson. He's something with comedians having podcasts. Kind of funny, let's talk about everything in life podcast. Anyway, he's talked about how him and his friend have been working on a documentary on Feel Free. And this is the guy, I know I had a clip of this I played recently here. He had this clip of them going to, I guess, wherever they're based out of, and walked right in their offices without anybody even noticing, trying to talk to people. Then they got kicked out. But they're working on a full documentary, and it's supposed to be, Venus, didn't you say it's coming out next week? Weren't you the one that mentioned that?
Yeah, September 2nd.
So next week. But he has a little short video clip, but he talks about Kratom quite a bit. I can't wait to see a documentary. We'll watch it when it comes out. But he did a little short clip, I guess, to get people excited about his little thing coming out.
The DEA is almost done finalizing the ban on 7-hydroxy, and Feel Free has got to be ecstatic. Feel Free is the most popular Kratom product in the U.S. with sales of over $250 million a year, and they've been pushing hard to get 7-hydroxy banned. And why wouldn't they? The Kratom industry is worth over $2 billion, and 7-hydroxy is cutting into a major share of Feel Free's market. Feel Free has invested a lot of money into making sure they stay protected from government regulation, with at least $1 million in donations to RFK's Maha Pack. Not to mention Secretary of Homeland Security Mark Wayne Mullen being a primary investor in the company. Here's Feel Free's founder, J.W. Ross, getting cozy with RFK. And oh, by the way, J.W. Ross is an ex-con who spent time in federal prison for fraud. My point is, I don't think the DEA's ban on 7-hydroxy has anything to do with public safety. I think it has everything to do with corporate greed, government backroom deals, and obviously Big Pharma is the primary unspoken culprit.
Woo!
Woo! Bring up that fraud, because gosh knows he's not the only one that's in there for fraud charges.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's going to be good when it comes out next week.
I love, what? People are getting pissed, and they're starting to speak up.
And more people.
I'm grateful. Yep. I'm grateful. I'm sad that we've all have to go through this.
Right.
Fear of possibly losing something that's given us all of our lives back. But damn, I'm so proud of our community. We are pissed, and we are not staying quiet. We are going to keep going and fighting. Look, I just found your channel by chance through the algorithm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Welcome to the Kratom Gals. We are happy to have you here.
We do this every week.
To have you here. We're also on school. You can find us at Kratom Stories Podcast.
SKOOL. Let me get that link up real quick. Come hang out with us.
I love when we find new people. It's great because I like their information. I learn from the viewers too. We
all learn from each other. We all learn from each other.
And this shows that we are all in this together, united as one, Kratom consumers. Alkaloids or not, whether you agree with 7 or not, mint or not. We're here for the whole plant. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, for sure. These comments are just, y'all have so much to say. That little clip we just watched, wow, that was
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that clip like that, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes of what really goes on behind the scenes. Sure. And trust where you're donating your money to. Is this going behind the scenes?
And some
deep
people, critical
that's
thinkers,
they
are deep diving. They're finally coming.
It's starting to make people mad.
Yeah. Well,
it's starting to make people mad that their narrative just isn't so easily, oh, okay, this is what so-and-so says, and this is what we're going to do now. No,
Right.
because I mean, let's just, call a spade a spade. That hearing in Georgia was, that was rough.
Yeah, if anybody missed last week, watch our replay here.
Yeah,
on
watch the
YouTube.
replay. Please watch that. At least if you did not watch it, I highly suggest the Georgia hearing. Please go listen to it. Please go listen to it.
Yeah, it's worth a watch to see like how kratom, our natural kratom, is being represented.
Yeah.
Around the country.
The
I've
science
never
doesn't
been
lie.
this worried. I've never been this worried about
Nope.
kratom staying legal all around the country.
Me either.
I'm terrified.
And I've had something
that last
inside of
week,
me the whole time. Even a couple years ago, we were like, Twinkle, because I do tend to overthink. I'm such a critical thinker that I overthink, and I grab patterns, and this person said this and this, that, and I read that. So, I mean, but, sometimes I do overreact, but I still don't think I am. I think I was thinking right the entire time. I was on the right page with the thinking, and because if that press conference was accurate, they would have never come after any more tea from that day on, and all these places are, and it's getting banned. So I think that I don't think I was wrong. It might not lead to me being right. Maybe kratom could be saved, but it wasn't a wrong thought process.
Does anybody
it is
think
possible it's not happening?
If the proper education was given to our legislators, between 2016 till now, do you think we would be in such a sticky spot that we're in? Because going into these hearings, what are we hearing? We don't know. We can't tell the difference between plain leaf and extract. We
had a truthful info packet to leave them all with. They could read that reference. They could go on to study even more if they wanted to. And if they didn't, because most of them don't have the time for all that, they'll Google right during the hearing as well.
Oh yeah.
But they'd have it in front of them to be reading while we were present or whoever showed up. And it would at least do a great deal of help for if that education would have taken place from the get-go in that manner, so.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to discern things they have no information. I mean, they're trying to come to a conclusion from chaos, essentially.
Exactly.
They're gonna bye-bye. Let's just ban it all.
And the media is blasting out all the lies. So
exactly. Potty Scotty, you could find that clip. You can go back into last week's Kratom Stories podcast. You can either watch the whole thing or you can watch I
have the short version.
Madeline does a nice short version of it. In the Georgia one is in that one as well. So you can watch it. It's right here where you're at. Just go down to the feed before the live
Madeline's
show. You'll be able to find it.
I
love those short. I love those short ones.
I've been spending a lot of my free time doing that. And
thank you, Madeline. Again, I know Robin thanks you every time she's here for giving us this platform, and really thank you. You have given our community a huge voice and a huge place to speak our experiences and speak our truth within ourselves,
I appreciate it. I mean, I do it solely out of my passion for natural leaf kratom, which has changed my life. I know how to do all this. I teach people how to do all this. I know how to podcast, live stream. I've taught social media for 20 years. I've been in digital marketing for 30 years. I built my first online community in 1996. This is my wheelhouse. And I spend all of my free time doing this. And what I started doing, because I have really good software that's made this a lot easier, is in the video section here. I've got, so if anybody wants to see the video clip, it's from last week, but instead of watching, our shows last week was 3 hours and 15 minutes right here. So here's just the shorter version of just the AKA speaking in Georgia, and you can see the very interesting discussion. But yeah, I just got lots here for y'all to see. But let's start wrapping things up. Sitting this long has been really tough on my back. I've got, speaking of, I do have an interesting video that's next. So for those that fellow Kratom advocates here in the community, you've seen that Robin and I get a lot of heat for just being here and doing this. And
just existing.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So, it's interesting that so much of this bad mouthing has been directing at Robin and I individually, and the Kratom Gals in general, and calling us the 70H Gals. And a lot of things thrown out there that there's no truth behind. But, when you're Mr. AKA and everybody knows who you are, and look, no doubt, he's done a great job advocating for Kratom all these years, but things have been changing a lot.
But I mean, our
we don't have to
still
agree.
don't know
We
plain
don't have to agree with his strategies, but I'm not going to ever. I think what he would like is for me to stop doing this, which I'm not going to do. I'm a passionate advocate.
I think he's trying to bully us into silence.
But, if you're going to sit here, I don't want to harp on this so long. So that's why we don't really talk about this a whole lot here. We try to just be here for the things we're doing and what y'all are here for as well. But yeah, there was some interesting things he said publicly. Lots of things he says publicly about me. But, I have receipts for everything. So I made this short video. It's not going to stop him. That's okay. But I felt really good making this, and I think y'all will enjoy it. So watch my little video I made.
This is the problem, that you get these people that have decided that their niche, position in the Kratom industry is to be an influencer.
What?
Well, we don't need an influencer. We need boots on the ground.
I'm here with Mac Hadow from the American Kratom Association. So what are we doing here today in Washington, D.C.?
Well, this is actually a great day because for the first time in this congressional session, we're going to have a scientific briefing giving an update to congressional members and their staffs about the true science of Kratom. It's going to fight back against the disinformation that the FDA keeps pumping out and trying to mislead the American public. And so this will be terrific for staffers to get to hear the truth. A wonderful panel. Dr. Nora Volko, the director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, is going to lead the panel off. Dr. Jack Henningfield from Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Kirsten Smith, formerly of NIDA, now with Johns Hopkins, and Dr. Marilyn Eustace, who's one of the world-renowned forensics toxicologists, is going to address this nonsense about Kratom deaths, that the medical examiners are just being misled by the FDA. And finally, Jim Carroll, former drug czar, director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy in the previous administration. All are going to speak about the value of Kratom.
It's going to be great. So we're going to be here representing you all here on Capitol Hill.
And we need people that are out there willing to make the sacrifice. And I've not seen, and I get it. She says that's not my shtick.
So I just had a meeting with my congressional aide for where I live in Houston. And so I just came out of this office, told the lady all about Kratom, and got a great reception. And she's going to pass it along to my house rep.
I've not seen Madeline testify remotely or in person at any hearing. And yet she is the face of.
Not even for her state when that happened last year.
Hey y'all, you've reached the office of State Senator Molly Cook for District 15. We are not in right now, so please leave your message after the beep. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey there, my name is Madeline Sklar, and I live in Houston, Texas. I'm in your district. And first off, I want to say thank you for all that you and your staff do for us in Houston. I really appreciate it. I'm calling today to ask Senator Cook to vote no on Senate Bill 1868. It's a bill that adds naturally occurring kratom alkaloids to penalty group 1, which would put it alongside heroin and fentanyl. And that could end up criminalizing safe whole leaf kratom products that many of us in Texas use responsibly. I use kratom powder daily for my chronic pain for degenerative disc disease that I have in my neck and in my back. And it has worked far better than all the years that I was in pain management taking opioids for it. I get no high from this plant. I get no loopiness, no side effects. Kratom actually gave me my quality of life back. So I would really love Senator Cook to vote no on Senate Bill 1868. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
So they're irrelevant, and irrelevancy is defined by the actions of the 708 Gals, the seven, those people, the Kratom Gals. And
okay. Well,
I have to say something. No advocate is irrelevant. No.
You would think the person running the AKA would think that. All I shared was just a little tiny bit. That was just from 2023 on Capitol Hill that I flew on my own dime.
Not even last year. Yeah.
I paid out of my own pocket to go do it because I felt that strongly. My mom had just passed away, and I was finally in this position where I could get back out in the real world and advocate more forward facing instead of from behind a computer. Because I moved back home to take care of my mom. I was an in-home caregiver for almost 5 years. And so I had to wait till that chapter of my life was over. I mean, caring for somebody with dementia is very difficult, especially your parent. And that was the first big thing I did is AKA was going to be doing one of their Hill days. And I wanted to go. So I paid for everything, and it was not cheap. But that's how strongly I wanted to be there. That's footage from that. I also went last year. Now, we did fundraise and raise money through our amazing community here. And I have tons of footage and photos from me doing this last year. The AKA's lobbyists, their DC lobbyists, said to me afterwards, he went in all the meetings with me. He said, what can we do to get you back here more often? We need your stories given out to more of these senators and House reps. I'm like, well, how often are you out here doing this? He goes, every 3 weeks. I said, well, if we can figure out how to raise money, I would love to do this more often. Instead, you saw what you saw. And it just makes no sense. And then for Misty to say, I didn't even go testify in my own state. They only gave us a few days notice, and it is not a trip I can drive there and come back. Is too far. I'd have to go overnight with my back issues. It would be an undertaking, and there was not enough time to plan for it, to board up my dog, and she knows that. As a matter of fact, I have the video of what used to be the Kratom Gals back then, early last year, whereas me, Venus, and Misty and Jennifer, I have video. We didn't live stream it, but I have the video of the four of us watching the Texas Senate hearing that she's referring to. She knew I couldn't make it. There was not enough time. And I have my own health issues. It was not a feasible. Y'all know how some of these things happen so quickly. There's not enough time. If I could have, I would have been there. But to say these things, all because they don't want me being an advocate and talking and being I'm not trying to be popular. I just have a lot of experience on how to do all these things, and I'm passionate, so people take notice. But this is not I don't even know what it is.
It's not a competition.
Keeping score of who advocates the most. Look, if Misty wants the award for the most advocacy and the most Zoom calls, girl, you take that award. None of us are trying to take that award. But all they do is slam me because I work for a living, so I can't sit and wait for these Zoom calls for the moment to speak. I call, I make phone calls, I send emails. I've been to Capitol Hill twice. I would have gone this year. But Mac found out I was trying to raise money to go.
You were banished
a few months ago. I was actively trying to raise money from the industry side to go. And he found out, and he publicly said that we were not allowed.
We were not allowed to go.
Kratom Gals are not allowed to come to our Hill Day. And I was hoping, I still would have gone. I just wouldn't be walking around with them. No biggie. I know how to go and speak for myself. He was convinced that Venus and I were going to go and advocate for 708. He tried to convince everybody that's what we're going to do.
And what's baffling is I'm not sitting there going, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. I'm just asking for a simple regulation on 7. I don't want it banned because I know if it bans 7, you ban all the rest of them.
Right.
Yeah. I really wanted to go because it's very, as a consumer, the most incredible thing you could do is go talk to lawmakers.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
And
it's just an
my
amazing
story
feeling.
was plain leaf. You know what I mean? Our stories are plain leaf. So for him to act like we were going to go in there and just talk, like our whole conversation was going to be about 7OH, it was
They wanted my
completely wrong.
story on the you know how they have the AKA, they have people's stories, pictures, you know, they wanted mine. They wanted to publish mine. The second they found out I started supporting 7, nope, they didn't, you know, they don't want to put my story up there anymore. Well, my story doesn't change. It's just that I'm utilizing an extract that they don't like.
They thought we were going to go hijack 7, and I would have never been able to go in the first place. I would have loved to, but I wouldn't have actually been able to accomplish that. I was so excited for Venus and Madeline, and at one point Venus was not going to be allowed to go either, but she is absolutely allowed to show up as an independent advocate. Anybody could go. She just couldn't go be with them. That's sad. I mean, I don't see how anybody could support that.
Right.
To segregate somebody from some. But
and the sad part
honestly,
was
it was probably
people
less
that
stressful.
Yeah. But the people that normally we would have met up with and talked and walked around with wouldn't even acknowledge my existence anymore once that happened.
And that's really sad because luckily Venus was still able to go. For anybody that was curious, she lives a lot closer. I live too far. So the only way I could have gone, I was going to, rearrange my work schedule and board up my dog and go, as expensive as all that is. But I needed to try to raise funds to at least cover the flight and hotel. And it wasn't able to because Mac put a stop to it. He's told the industry people multiple times they're forbidden to work with me. So, make it make sense. I'm just trying to help people.
Doesn't make sense.
But then say you don't do anything at the same time. Not allow it, but then say you don't do anything at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's why I showed the receipts, and again, I have so much more, but
now,
I just was like,
these days we are going to go, even if it's just a dream, a pipe dream, or whatever you want to call it. One of these days, I'm going to pray that we can get to DC somehow or another.
Yes,
and the gals are going to go to DC.
Oh, I love that.
Plus anybody else that wants to go too.
Never know what tomorrow will bring.
We don't hate on anybody. Anybody that wants to go, advocate.
We don't shun anybody.
One of these days, even if my son has to take me, I'm gonna hope for it and pray for it. Never know what tomorrow will bring. So.
And I do want to mention, Robin also gets a lot of hate from Mac and them about how she doesn't show up to the Zoom hearings, and her state has had all these in-person hearings and Zoom hearings, and she doesn't show up.
Yes, no idea what goes on behind the scenes. None.
Exactly. And she's dealing with health issues right now.
Health issues, the crap he said about her being out of town at a funeral. He doesn't know anything and just shoots his mouth off. He needs to stop it. And just work on fighting for our plan.
Yes.
Stop it.
Right. Fighting for
causing division. We're stronger together.
Mm-hmm.
And her state has a hearing.
Her
state has a hearing coming up, and I'm sure we're going to hear plenty from him talking about and making fun of Robin because, the head of BAE doesn't even go advocate.
She isn't even in town either. So.
Yeah. So
we don't have any money like we don't raise billions. We don't raise anything. We do this for free.
Yeah.
Right. Plus, they obviously do not suffer from can't even talk. We've been here too long. Debilitating chronic pain that a lot of us suffer with. I know I look fine. I don't feel fine. My back's killing me. But a lot of us have learned to hide our pain.
Yes,
absolutely.
I can hide it so well. I am suffering right now.
Fake it till you make it.
But, you learn early on.
Me constantly moving. So
yeah, it's just people don't want to hear it. I'm so used to it. They just. Even your family and friends, it gets old to them very fast because they don't understand because they're not living it. I definitely don't expect any of those people to ever understand the issues we go through. Yes, I went to DC twice. It was not easy. No. I'm not going to sit here and play all my videos. I'm going to put a video together with all this stuff. I have a video of me last year in DC after it was over, while I'm still there, talking for about 4 minutes, talking about while I'm wiped out, This is hard to do with my health issues, but I went anyway because I feel so strongly about doing this. Like, why would anybody in the Kratom community want to dismiss somebody that is doing all this? I don't understand. It's not going to stop me, and I'm not doing it for any other reason than to just be a part of this and help people and help our legislators understand, because it's that important. I don't want it taken away, but sorry, I don't buy the whole it's all 7-O's fault. 7-O industry has done a lot of things that they could have done better, but I'm not blaming. You know what's interesting too? When the video I just made, and it is up on my YouTube channel if anybody wants to see it again, the first clip of me and him, so it was the first time I went to DC, December 2023. If you listen to that whole thing he said, he's saying the exact same thing he says, but with 7OH now. He was saying at the end of his little speech about how that all of this ridiculousness, these deaths, supposed deaths, because the FDA is pushing this. Well, now instead, he just throws in 7OH. So it's a lot of the same things, just fill in the blank.
Just a rewrite. It's a rewrite. It's a little bit of a rewrite.
Exactly.
Yeah. I catch that a lot. I do. I definitely notice. Yeah. But anyway, I'm not here to have people pick sides. I'm not here to have people, side with us or listen to us or go with what we say. I think my video says it all. I think it says more than enough. But it's been 6 months. It's been 6 months of that.
And I need to add what we all say. You've said it. I've said it. Robin said it. We've all said it. We don't care who you support. Support one of the organizations, BAE, AKA, GKC. Support one, support all. I don't just do something to fight for the legality of this plant that we all love.
Yeah. 100%. And that's why we're here. We're also passionate about Kratom. I found a music video to end today. That's a new one. And I'm so excited. Yes.
Me too.
I love new.
It's not every day you find a Kratom related song, right? And I know I play a lot of the same ones because there aren't that many, but I found a new one and I'm so excited about it because it's so good. So I hope y'all like it. I think you're gonna like it. So thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you all.
Doing this each week. We're at 2 hours and 51 minutes. We've been here for quite a while. Thank you I know a lot of y'all have been in the live chat this entire time.
I know. Thank you.
It's amazing. Like, we have such a great audience here. We got so many people here live with us right now. And we're so thrilled to be back on X, back to live stream. Well, that reminds me too, real quick. So, because I mentioned at the beginning, but I, of course, I forgot to mention it again, is that we are doing a little fundraiser right now to help support me and Venus and Twinkle. We upgraded our X account. It used to be Twitter, now it's X. And it costs money. And I calculated for us to each have a year, prepay for a year, because we can do more. We can live stream on there. So I wasn't able to live stream on there before, but now we can with a paid account. But we're just able to do more of our advocacy work. So
that's a great picture. That's a really
good
picture.
That was
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
That was indeed. That's me in front of Capitol Hill last year.
Doing some advocating.
I
love it.
Doing my thing.
Yeah.
And
Still, my most favorite picture is when everybody met for the first time in DC. That big, giant crowd of people that went to DC. That picture just
2016.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful picture.
That's so awesome. But yeah, let me put the link on here real quick. So if anybody wants to help support our efforts, I made it super simple where got all the options available. If somebody wants to make a one-time donation, any amount is helpful towards our goal. Our goal is raising $276, which will allow me, Venus, and Twinkle to have pay to get the best price, prepay for a year of X. So we can do more. I've already ramped up putting more news information in my X at Kratom Story, and more breaking news stuff and more advocacy information, and just trying to just help spread more awareness, because Twitter doesn't censor. So it's just been nice. But I have all these options available if anybody wants to help out. okay if you're not able to. It's just many times the community doesn't know you're looking for help unless you ask. So just throwing it out there. The link is kratomstoriespodcast.com/support.
$1, $2, we'd be grateful. Nothing at all. Maybe share the page or
share
something.
it. Yeah,
but
share
in
it.
any event,
I even have a QR code. I have a handy QR code. So
That's amazing.
if anybody's watching on their TV, just take a little picture of the QR code in the corner. That'll take you right to the website. But it's kratomstoriespodcast.com/support. Any
I
amount.
love the Canadian cat whisperer.
Helps.
Hashtag Leafer Madness. Leafer. That was a good one.
That one came up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I like that one.
That was a real good one. I like that a lot. Anyway, thank you all so much for spending time with us today. It's just always just a great discussion. So I think you're going to like this new video I found.
Oh, they're going to love it.
Yeah, I think so too. So we'll be back next Saturday, and come join us over in our school community, school.com. You can also just easily get to it at kratomrealtalk.com is the shortcut link. Something that it's so funny how they think they go around saying I not transparent and that I'm getting all this money from the industry. No, I've been paying that out of my pocket right there. If you go to school.com/kratomrealtalk or kratomrealtalk.com, our school community, I've been paying $99 a month out of my pocket since I started it in December of 2023 because we get censored so much on social media. X is better. They don't do it. But TikTok, when TikTok deleted my first account back in December 2023, I just went ahead and set up school because I know how to do it. And I've been paying out of my pocket ever since so that we can all have a place to go. If anybody wants to help support that, look, Mac, why don't you help support this? Why don't you donate? Because we could use the help. I haven't minded paying it out of my pocket, but anybody wants to go help chip in, it's all appreciated. But I'm going to do it regardless. I've been doing it regardless. But it's also okay to ask for help. So there you go. I'll stop now. All right. New song. I hope y'all enjoy it. We'll be back here next week. And thank you, ladies. And Angela, thank you for filling in for Robin.
Thanks for having me.
It was great having you.
Yeah. Hearts to everybody. Thank you to everybody here live with us. And thank you for anybody watching the replay all the way at the 2-hour and 56-minute mark. All right. New one. Here we go.
Here we go. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Well, I brought home a bag of that green leaf dust. My kitty looked at me like I'm a human he'd trust. He jumped on a counter, knocked over my cup. Now he's purring so loud that the neighbors woke up. He stole my chair, then he stole my bed. Now I got cats chilling over my head. I said, buddy, you're spoiled. He just gave me that look, and then he curled into a ball on my favorite book. Cats in the kratom with a silver spoon. Little kitty sitting on my hand at noon. When's he getting up? God, I don't know when, but we'll play together then. Every morning starts the same old way. He's screaming for his breakfast before I'm awake. I measure my powder, he watches me take, rubbing on my ankle for his little brown flakes. The windows are open and he's feeling the breeze, head darting right and left while he's watching the trees. Life ain't bad with a cat for a friend, but nap time never ends. Cats in the kratom with a silver spoon. Little kitty sitting on my hand at noon. When's he getting up? God, I don't know when, but we'll eat together then. Maybe life's just happier taking things slow, with a warm little fur ball stealing the show. One more cup, one more purr, nothing in the world could be comfier, sir. I've got my